Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Stadium in Pearland, Texas for game number 2 in the National Women's Cricket League Championship in fact, we're talking about the second match today. Overall, we've played multiple games across 2 days. This is the second match that we'll be broadcasting today. This is between the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs and the Houston Hurricanes. Chickadees Loudoun Cubs have won the toss and decided to have a bat. And then the very first ball to Izzy Slade-Jones is kind of guided down to deep backward point. Make that deep third for the first runs of the day. 2 runs from the first delivery. The batters are Izzy Slade-Jones, and we'll get the name of the non-striker as soon as we can. But more than anything else, we're off and running here on a beautiful day for cricket here in the Houston area. Pearland, just south of downtown Houston. Izzy Slade-Jones struck on the pad. That's going down leg. That is a good delivery right in the block hole. Bowler is Ria Nadkarni. Ria Nadkarni, the daughter of the great Sushil Nadkarni. Ria probably wants me to stop referring to her in those terms, because she's a brilliant cricketer in her own right. In addition to, it's very much a cricket-oriented family, as you'd well imagine, for the former captain and one of the better batters ever in the history of U.S. cricket. Ria Nadkarni, right arm over, and goes past the outside edge now. So 3 deliveries in. We're off and running. 2 without losses, the score. Ria Nadkarni bowling over the wicket, right-hander, seam bowler. Her older brother is Aaron Nadkarni, who is a brilliant all-rounder in his own right. And once again, father Sushil Nadkarni, one of the better-known names in U.S. cricket circles. Fishing outside off for 3rd consecutive delivery. Izzy Slade-Jones is beaten outside the line of off stump. So once again, this is Brian Walters with you. Apologies for not having the score card on your screen. That should be updated in very short order. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. In the meantime, I'll give you or keep running with an unofficial scorecard, my own private scorecard that I use, but the official scorecard will be available to you sometime soon. This is bang on target. This is a great line being bowled by Ria Nadkarni. All 5 balls so far. Make that all 4 balls. I think there's 2 balls remaining. Are exactly in that off-stump channel, exactly where you want them to be. The first ball was guided through short third for a double, but everything else has been defended or beaten the outside edge. Now this one just a little too wide for the liking of umpire Raja Arshad Hayat. Umpire Hayat not only umpiring duties for today, but is the head groundskeeper here for Moosa Stadium. Former professional cricketer from Pakistan, but these days makes his living right here as a groundskeeper and as a coach. Very accomplished coach. Good line again, and that's a good length too, just short of driving length. And so a really good over. That is the end of the over. 3 without losses, the score. We're off and running after 1. One over done, 3 without loss. And taking up the attack from the Massive Ranch Road end is Tia Chowdhury. Tia, a young, exciting cricketer and the daughter of the great Mithali Chowdhury, former professional cricketer, now an accomplished administrator and coach here in the Houston area. Tia is one of the younger players in this tournament. I need to verify her age. In fact, I won't guess, but she's very young. But also one of the more exciting young cricketers that you'll see anywhere. Very good with the bat and with the ball. And all of a sudden, 3 deliveries in, or 3 runs in, 6 balls in. So another 114 balls remaining, and looking to see what sort of score the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs are going to put up. Just a bit of a delay. I think we're waiting for the scorers to catch up because there we go. So you do now have the information on your screen. Congratulations to the scoring team. That is not easy handling all of this, all these moving parts in a tournament of this magnitude. Several teams from all over the country. That is a good ball. Bang on target, right on that off-stump line and defended into the offside. So a good start by Tia Chowdhury. I mentioned that teams are here from all over the country. Well, that may be understating it because there's several players who have traveled here from abroad. A handful of players on the Willow Breakers team that are here from Canada. This one now goes down the leg side a little too wide. In fact, anything down the leg side is going to be adjudged wide. And umpire Talat, or Hayat, I keep calling him umpire Talat. Umpire Hayat raising the arms for the first time in this over. So, Tia Chowdhury, right arm over the wicket. There she is again, very full, Yorker length. This is driven down to mid-off, make that mid-on. Ball traveling at some pace. Again, this outfield, once that early morning moisture disappeared, the outfield really is in spectacular shape. And so you expect that the batters will get full value for all of their shots. And it becomes that much more important for the bowlers to land that ball exactly on the right lines and in the right lengths. This is really good bowling so far by Tia Chowdhury. So 3 balls remaining here in her first over. And she's going to be looking to take this momentum. And another good ball. Bang on target. Exactly where you want these deliveries to be. So certainly the case that the Loudoun Cubs had a bit of a rough game yesterday evening. And I think that you'll look to see them try to rebound from that. Another good ball struck into the extra cover area. That's a good stop by the captain, Celeste Dutoy. Down on her knees and hands, stopping that one from going through with that fast outfield. I'm assuming that would have raced away to the boundary had she not been able to get that one. Next delivery. Struck on the pad, half-hearted appeal, looking for LBW. Not given, but a really good start here by Tia Chowdhury. Just 2 runs coming from that over. At the end of 2, the score is 5 without loss. So Ria Nadkarni to continue. Bowling from the Pearland end. Right arm over the wicket. That's a good looking stroke into the covers and it gets through. That may just stop short of the boundary, but they'll get a couple. It's a good piece of attacking cricket. Just looking to get on the front foot and punch that ball into that gap. That is a good looking stroke by Mithali. And she has really looked in the couple of deliveries that she's received so far. Looked good. Now, not really striking it at a very high rate. And so at some point, you'd think either she or her partner, Izzy Slade-Jones, are going to try to accelerate. But part of that is due to really, really good bowling here by the Houston Hurricanes. It's opening pair of Ria Nadkarni and Tia Chowdhury are both bowling exactly where you want to bowl. Bang on target on the off stump. A couple of times they've strayed too straight. But apart from that, that line has generally been on off stump. And this one goes through outside of off, defeating the attempted cut shot by Mithali. Next delivery by Ria Nadkarni, played to backward point for no run. So yes, this is really, really good bowling by both these opening bowlers. Really handful. You're bowling exactly the way you want to, getting the ball exactly in the right areas. And so far, not a lot that this opening batting pair can do to score. This is struck well, but directly to cover point actually. And yet another dot ball. So the dot balls are piling up. One ball remaining here in the third. Only 7 runs on the board. And again, the power play, the first 6 overs are when you can only have you can have a maximum of 2 fielders outside of that circle, the inner circle. Everyone is inside the circle, though, for the Hurricanes and looking for a drive outside off, missing this one. Yet another dot ball, though. So 3 overs in. A really great economical start by the Houston Hurricanes with the ball. The Chickadees, after having chosen to bat first, struggling to get the ball off the square. The score is 7 without loss. Tia Chowdhury back in for her second over, and again going past the outside edge. Wash, rinse, repeat. These are all balls that are right on the off stump line, and all balls that are really testing these opening batters. And neither of them, as of right now, appears to be able to get bat on ball. This is really good stuff from this opening pair. The opening bowling pair, I mean. Next delivery, bang on target again. This one a little bit straighter, but still only defended to backward point. Not backward point, my apologies, mid-wicket. But either way, we're looking right now at a very economical spell being bowled by both of these opening bowlers. Tia Chowdhury now 2 overs or 1.2 overs and 2 runs only conceded. Again, another good ball, bang on target. This is really good economical stuff. This pair is not giving anything away. And the pressure is building on the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The opening pair of Izzy Slade-Jones and Mithali Patwardhan, both of them have been tied down. This is good economical bowling, and they're not, as of yet, really able to generate much in terms of getting the ball off the square. Izzy Slade-Jones faced 10 deliveries, only scored 2 runs. And even though this last delivery was a wide, generally this opening pair has gotten the ball exactly where they want it. And Mithali, Patwardhan, 3 runs scored from 11 balls faced. So both of them are just absolutely, as they say, they have the ball on a string. You can actually direct that ball exactly where you want it to go, and they're able to do exactly that in this opening burst. Once again, outside the line of off stump, and outside again, another play and a miss. Really good stuff here. T. Chowdhury. This is her second over. So in terms of the total number of overs, each bowler in a T20 match can bowl a maximum of 4 overs. So your T. Chowdhury in this one, outside off again. And it goes through, and that is going to be the end of the over. As I started saying, each bowler can bowl a maximum of 4 overs. So each of these opening bowlers has already bowled 2. Sometimes when the bowling attack is going as well as it is, the captain might choose to keep the opening bowlers on to continue to build that pressure. But of course, you always want to think that if you're opening bowlers, if you're good enough with the new ball in hand, then you're also good enough to come back and bowl at the death. So the captain can sometimes choose to keep at least 1 over back. But here you see that Captain Celeste Dutoy has chosen to continue with Ria Nadkarni. So Ria about to start her 3rd over. 2 overs, 5 runs so far. So great bowling. This is played through the offside. Good stop, though. Look at that. Good athletic effort. Then a shy at the non-striker's end. They'll eventually get a run because that ball was a little bit offline. The throw came into the non-striker's end, and not the safest thing in the world for Ria Nadkarni to use her knees to try to stop that one. If you're a keeper, then you can use your pads to stop those balls that are bouncing awkwardly at the stumps. Ria choosing that time to use her feet as though she had pads on. That may not be the safest thing in the world. That ball hitting either your shin or your knees does not feel very good. But still only conceding 1 run. Next delivery, once again, right on the right line and the right length. They're asking serious questions of both of these opening bowlers, of the opening batters. So only 9 runs on the board, and we'll make that 10 runs on the board. And we are almost halfway through the 5th over. This is really economical stuff from this pair. Now a little bit more width offered, but again, Izzy Slade-Jones trying to cut that one and not able to make any contact. And so a very economical spell continues for both of these opening bowlers. So 9.3, there is a correction on the scorecard. It was incorrect. It's now been updated. 9 runs after 4.3. That's off the outside edge. That may run away fortuitously for 4. That is a first boundary and a welcome boundary. Genuine edge. Had there been a slip fielder there, I don't know that they would have been able to take a catch, but it certainly would have been an opportunity to field that ball. If we see a replay on that, it was off the outside edge and certainly flying in the direction behind point. Here's the replay. That delivery from outside off. And finding the outside edge. Well played in the end, I have to say. Keeping it down, and it flies away to short third, or through short third down to the boundary for 4. Short third, my apologies. So this next delivery, played into the backward point area for no run. And as I've always said, it becomes so difficult to talk for 3 hours during the course of a match without company. So I'm absolutely happy to be joined here in the commentary area by Annika Colin. Annika, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And the reason I'm fantastic is because I absolutely hate talking by myself for 3 hours. So I'm really happy to always have company in the box. Tell me, I've seen you play before, but for those who've never seen you play, tell me a little bit about your career and how you think the tournament is going so far.
Well, about me and like I guess my career. I made my debut for the USA team in 2021. I made my T20 debut in Mexico for the Mexico qualifiers, and then my ODI debut in Zimbabwe for the ODI qualifiers. And I am a wicketkeeper, and I usually bat like up the order. Yeah.
So you've played for the national team.
Yeah.
You played in Zimbabwe. Actually, let's stop there. Playing in Zimbabwe, you're playing in a country in the southern hemisphere. What is that like? How were you able to make the adjustment from playing here? First of all, what time of the year was it?
This was, I think, November of 2021.
Okay, so November in
November,
Zimbabwe
yeah.
is sort of like April or May here, right? So kind of late spring. So tell us a little bit about that. Where do you live, first of all?
I live in California.
So you live in California. So leaving California in the middle of November, going to Zimbabwe, what's that like?
I mean, I guess with our USA schedule, like, we get there a bit early so we can start like acclimatizing and get used to the temperature. We had several like practices to just get used to the temperature, how the ground works, how the ball like reacts when you're in that condition, the humidity and the altitude and things like that. So USA Cricket did a really good job of letting us players just like understand what our surroundings are and how to get to the best of our ability there.
First bit of aggression shown here by Mithali. For the first time, she powers one away through backward square to the boundary. So welcome runs here. So in terms of your playing for the USA in Zimbabwe, you've taken some time, you've gotten acclimatized to the conditions. What was it like to then determine, okay, now that we're accustomed to the conditions, let's see what we can do about making a good account for ourselves?
Yeah, so I think it was really great. I was one of the younger ones on the team, alongside some of my other debutantes that I debuted with, like Isani Bagela and Suhani Thadani and some players like them. So we had a lot of senior players just mentoring us. Uzma, Tara Norris, of course, and the Sri Harsha, our captain. They do a really good job of mentoring us and just showing us and introducing us to the international platform. And from there, like, I just follow into their steps, and that's how you just get accustomed into the international circuit. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So the influence, make that influence, just said influence for some reason. The influence of senior players cannot be overstated. So
Yeah.
tell me about your relationship with the leadership team and how that's influenced and impacted your overall game.
Well, Sindhu Swarasha especially, she was basically like my first coach. She's also a wicketkeeper, and I've been training with her and now just been mentored by her since the age of 9, and I still work with her. She's always just one call away. So she's a wicketkeeper. She basically taught me all my basics with batting as well, and with our coaches in the USA. They taught me a lot of my basics as well, and I got the pleasure of working with some like amazing names such as Julia Price and Shiv Narayan Chandrapal. So yeah, and our mentors, they really just like show us how things work in the international field. It's not all the same. Like, you're not just playing in the US, you're not just playing in California on California grounds. Like, you're playing with international teams who have loads of experience. So they just teach you from there and how to react to the situation, what to do, what cues to look for, and things like that.
If you are just joining us, we are here with cricket royalty. Annika Coland, the exciting young member of the USA cricket team. Annika, tell me, as this is struck in the air, almost carried to backward point. In fact, let's talk about this game for a second.
All right.
We're looking at the score now. 5.3 overs in, make that 5.4 overs, 21 without loss. So if you won the toss
Yes.
and chose to bat,
Yeah.
choosing to bat and only having 21 runs on the board inside the power play, or with two balls remaining in the power play.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there? Oh, that's a lovely shot, by
That's
the
a
way.
lovely shot through covers. And just talking about aggression, I was just about to say, I think they need a little bit more of an aggressive power play, but I think they have a really good duo out there, and Mithali just strikes out wonderfully through the covers. So I think they're doing good so far. I think these players are just going to kind of steer into the innings. They're just going to spend more time. The more time they spend, the longer they'll stay there, and more runs they'll make for the team. So I think the power play might be a bit slow, but I think it's something that they can catch up to later.
Interesting. Now, you are a keeper and you're a top order bat.
Yeah.
Do you open the batting or do you usually come like 1 or 2 down?
I can open as well, but I usually come 1 down from there. Yeah.
So if you're opening and you get the sense, okay, look, we have 1 ball remaining in the power play. There's only 26 runs on the board. So it's not desperation time by any means, but there is a need to sort of accelerate the scoring
Yeah,
rate.
of course.
Are you looking to hit big, or are you just simply looking to hit the ball in the gaps and run hard?
Well, as a top order player, my biggest role is to just stay in there, because if you stay in, then you get runs for the team, and if you just stay in longer, you can. That's all you need to do as a top order batter, basically. So if I was in that situation, I would just stay in there. There's no need for kind of just giving away my wicket, because even if I get a few dots, I know I can come back later.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about the younger players who were coming into the side when you did. So I think you said Isana Vagela.
Yeah.
I think you also said, who was the other name you called?
Suhani
Tadani.
Yeah. We also have Chaitanya Prasad, who's actually on my team today, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of you sort of coming in at the same time, what does that do? And I don't know if you have the perspective to be able to answer this question. I hope that didn't sound insulting.
No,
But for those of us who've been around for a very long time, 3 or 4 young, exciting players coming into the team at one time is huge.
It is.
For the longest time, we had trouble just getting 11 players together
Yeah.
throughout the entire country
Yeah.
who played women's cricket.
Yeah.
So be able to get a number of players your age in the side at the same time, to me, is a big deal. So what do you
Yeah.
think about that?
I think it was a really great opportunity. It's a really great feat for all of us. Last year, Mulpati also made her T20 debut in Mexico alongside with us. And I think it's great because at the time, the team was composed of a lot of West Side players, and I grew up with them. I've been playing with our debutantes that I just talked about. I've been playing with these girls ever since I started cricket, basically. And getting into that international platform with them, being able to get that bond from an extremely early age, too, I think it was really great. We're all learning with each other to this day, and we have amazing mentors as well. So I think it was great. It's definitely a big change, but it's definitely one that in the future, as long as you keep playing and keep that effort up, it'll definitely be worth it. Yeah.
So you're from California, Northern California, or Southern California?
Southern California.
Southern California. So.
Oh wait, Northern California. Sorry, I was literally. Sorry, that was a brain tweak. Sorry, I'm not from SoCal.
May I introduce you to your own state?
I'm like an hour away from San Francisco.
Look,
Sorry, that was
I have
mean.
driven from California, from LA to San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's not an hour away. So, yeah, comfortably,
Yeah.
you're from Northern California.
I am, yes.
So, how possible is it to play cricket year-round there? 'Cause I'm assuming it's possible year-round in Southern California. How about Northern California?
I think it is. We have amazing indoor industries that we also have, so it's definitely possible to play cricket all year round. We kind of it just gets a little cold and windy during the winters, so I don't know. It's just something we deal with. Ever since I've been playing, I've lived in California almost my whole life, basically, and as I'm keeping or as I'm batting, I just have a jacket strapped on, and if I get hot, then that's when I would take it off.
Sure.
Things like that. So it's just kind of adaptability, and it's just all for the love of the game, right? You're just gonna do some things just because you want to play some cricket.
Fantastic. Okay, so tell us some things that we don't know about you away from cricket. Tell me about school. Tell me about
Away from
overall. Oh, look at
cricket.
that. Great delivery outside of off. And a big swipe and a miss. Izzy Slade Jones now 6 from 22 deliveries. So struggling to get the ball off the square. But again, away from cricket, tell us about you.
I don't know. Cricket is a huge part of my life. I can't say that I have a lot of things outside of that, but I enjoy playing tennis.
You are the
Sorry, not even
second
tennis.
person.
Oh my God, I'm actually tweaking so hard. I play golf. What am I saying right now? I'm so sorry. I used to play tennis, if that counts. Sorry,
How
I'm
do you-
speaking so hard.
I'm a left-hander. I mean, I'm a
I'm
right-hander.
a right-hander. I'll just do a switch here while I'm at the pitch.
Exactly. I'm a leg spinner. I mean, I'm a pace bowler. No. So you play golf.
Sometimes.
Tell me about. No, wait. First of all, are you sure it's golf?
Yes, I'm sure
All
it's
right,
golf.
It's golf. Tell me about your golf career.
I don't know. I just took up a few lessons. Especially it was pretty recent too, like late last year, just to help with my hand-eye coordination. So again, it's all intertwined with cricket. But no, I do enjoy golf. But apart from that, I used to play the piano.
Say more.
I love dogs. We were almost about to get our dog, but it just didn't work out. But I love labs.
Very interesting.
I'm a junior in high school.
Junior in high school.
Yeah.
So you're probably the same age as my son. He's also a junior in high school. How old are you?
I'm 16.
16. When's your birthday?
August 18th.
So you are 1 month, actually 3 weeks younger than my son.
Oh, nice.
So now, love dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You play golf.
Yes.
And you picked up golf in order to, I guess, be consistent with your hand-eye coordination for cricket.
And also just to like not always have my mind on cricket type of thing. Like it can get very overwhelming sometimes. So just take a little break, but also while like improving my skills at the same time.
Very interesting. So I know nothing about golf. I've played putt-putt golf.
Okay.
I've literally gone and...
Well, honestly, me too. It's just for fun.
Like,
it's just for
there's
fun.
the clown's mouth, 30 feet away, knock the ball into the clown's mouth.
Like, I'm just saying that in case you ask me questions, because I'm not going to know.
No, you're not going to get any golf-specific questions
no,
from
I'm
me.
not. Okay, perfect.
So this is the first ball being bowled by Pooja Shah. First ball speared down the leg side. This opening pair, getting back to this game for a second.
Yes.
The opening pair with the ball have both bowled out. Ria Nadkarni and T. Chowdhury. Each of them has bowled their allotment of 4 overs. And after 4 overs each, wait, I may be wrong. I'm sorry. So 1 more over, I think, to be bowled by T. Chowdhury.
Yeah.
But 7 bowled, 4 by Ria Nadkarni, 3 by T. Chowdhury, and still only 27 runs on the board. So you have 10 wickets in hand. At what point, as the batting side, do you say, okay, now it's been a while. We need to get going?
Yeah, about at this point, I would say, like, yeah, we need to start accelerating a bit more. But I think 10 overs, I think increments of 5 are the best way to kind of plan out a T20 or any type of cricket game, basically. But especially T20s, because you take the first couple overs to settle in, and once you know, then comes power plays over, and then you have the change in field settings. So I think right about this time, I would still look for my gaps, just like Mithali did just now. That was really great timing from her. And almost a 4, but they're taking that double. But yeah, just things like that, running those twos, getting a single almost every single ball. I think that would be the most important. And then once you just gently stride into that 10 over mark, you start getting a bit more aggressive. And then the last 15 is where you just power through it and get the biggest total you can.
So you mentioned Mithali. A couple of times you've said something specific about her that lets me know that you've played with or against her before.
Yes.
Tell me about her as a player.
I think I've not been playing. I've been playing against her, not with her. I've been playing against Tali for, I think, the past 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, from the very first, like, intra-regionals, regionals, and nationals, the very first time we had that in the USA Cricket development pathway.
Yep.
But, yeah, she's just been on the opposite team. We have, like, kind of the same role. So, yeah.
She a keeper also?
She's also a keeper, yes.
Okay. Now, completely random and not in any way related to what we're talking about before. Yeah. What is your comfort level with broadcasting? Because you act like what you're doing right now. You actually could be, if the whole cricket thing doesn't work out, you would be an excellent analyst.
This is actually the first time I've done this. I'm going to be so real right now.
It's uncanny to me, number one, how many adults would never do what you're doing right now.
Really?
That's the first thing. In fact, I've asked several here today or this week. That's a good cut shot. That's going to run away for 4.
Good timing. Just played a little late, getting the edge of the bat, but that's great by Mithali.
I rest my case.
I'm just observing what I see. Yeah.
That literally is all that is required of somebody who's sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
And it's,
well, I'll think about it. If I ever take it up, I know who to call now.
well, don't call me. I'm not a decision maker. I just go where they tell me to go. But in the context of being able to sort of analyze and understand the game, there's always a good demand for people your age who can express the game to others and show them in such a way that they understand it. So more to the point, when I'm thinking in terms of overall cricket development, one of the most important bridges between the traditional cricket community and the non-traditional cricket community are people like you, because you have your foot in both camps. You are young enough, and you have, well, I mean, you do, because you're interacting with school kids or other kids your age, most of whom at your school probably don't know much about cricket.
Yeah.
But you are a high-level national player for the sport in this country.
Yeah.
So you yourself are in a position to be able to sort of be a bridge between the two different communities, which I think is important. So that is the end of the 8th over. By the way, how long do we have you here for? Wait, when is your next game?
I'm playing the Atlanta team
Atlanta.
right after this, I think.
Right after this one. Okay. So, at the most we'll have you for another couple of overs or so.
Yeah.
So in the remaining time, let's talk about what you expect from your team for this tournament. Tell me how you all have performed so far, and how do you expect to perform the rest of the way?
Well, the past 2 games I think has been really, really great from our side. I'm representing the NCCA women's team, and I think we're doing really great. We have a healthy mix of kind of mentors and some girls who are just getting into cricket, some who are already like in that development stage, about to get to that next stage, who are doing really well. So I think we have a great mix of players. We've had 2 games so far. The first one, I mean, we just played Houston, and the first one was against... Wait, my brain is fogging up right now.
There's a surprise.
Who was my... That was so mean.
My apologies.
No.
Comment withdrawn.
I would have said that too, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, our first 2 games, they were nail biters, but we went through, we won those games, which is really great. I think it sends like a wave of confidence to the rest of our team, which is really great, and we're just going to take up that confidence, and there's no way to go but up from here, and we're just going to take that into our game against Atlanta right after this game.
Interesting. I didn't notice this when it happened, but Izzy Slade-Jones has been retired, ostensibly retired out, and Ashwini Chavan, the captain, is now in. Do you think, based on the questions I was asking you about how slowly they were going along, Izzy had, I believe, 6 from 24 balls, so strike rate of 25. Do you think that all of a sudden, ow, my hamstring, I need to go off? Is one of those things where it's an unintentional, intentional retired out?
I don't think so, because the captain came in next, so I'd have to think that it was intentional. But I think the means to that would be like the power play was a bit slow, and now it's kind of entering that wave of getting to the second half of the game, entering 10 overs. We just started our 8th right now, but I think it was intentional from the captain, just try to get that run a ball back, and get that strike rate and everything back up, run rate, yeah.
I am interested in hearing your thoughts on this as a young player, because I'm an old guy, so it doesn't matter what I think. Do you think that is within the spirit of cricket? If somebody is not hurt but is struggling to get the ball off the square, is it in the spirit of cricket to retire that person out to get somebody? That's why I want your opinion on it.
Well, I think... Well, I'm captaining this tournament. I've given the opportunity to do that. And I think when it comes to the team, like, you're just going to have to do some things for the team. I think before retiring, though, you should give the batter a bit of a warning. Say, just like play your game. There have been many opportunities that I've been given where I wasn't necessarily clicking. But before retiring me, they just gave me a little heads up, and I started kind of going through my shots, being a little more free, and I was in for the rest of the game. So, and from there, like, I was able to make big scores, and eventually, like, everything is for the team. So I think it's kind of, yes, it is controversial a bit, because I don't think there's a problem in retiring, but I think that the player should be told a bit beforehand so they can try to steer whatever they can.
So I remember watching, and maybe we dismiss you after this over, but I
Okay.
remember watching a match. Kieran Pollard
Mm-hmm.
was the captain of the team that was in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem Cornwall was the batter. You've seen Raheem Cornwall.
Yes.
He's a pretty big guy.
Yes, I have.
And he was struggling to run between the wickets and immediately called for a replacement. And he went off and somebody else came in. And Kieran Pollard was livid.
Oh.
And honestly, I have to say I understand his
Yeah.
anger. From the standpoint of Raheem Cornwall's team, you know you need to get the game going and get the scoring rate up.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what just happened in this game right now.
But from the standpoint of the team that's bowling,
Yes.
my goodness, this person, you know what? If they hit the ball in the air, intentionally drop it. Because
Yes,
we need this
totally
person
get
at the
that.
wicket.
I get that.
So I certainly understand why it would be very tricky to sort of negotiate how to handle that type of situation. Is it within the rules? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it in the spirit of the game? I'm not so.
Depending on the situation, really.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you want your team to win, and you'll do whatever it takes to get that victory.
So you do what your team needs. Ooh, direct hit from backward point. That's not ever easy. So you do what your team needs to do to have you win.
Yes.
Okay, I lied. I'm gonna have you for one more over.
No worries. I'm loving it up here.
Yeah, for somebody who claims to have never done this,
I've never
I'm
done
going to
this.
check your resume. I'm sure when you're in school or something.
College apps are coming up. If you want to write that I've done this before, it's perfect.
Well, I mean,
'Cause I'm trying to go to
you're
school. I'm trying to go to
literally
college.
doing it right now.
Yes,
So,
sure.
actually, talk to me about that. What are you looking to study in college?
That is a really tricky question, because I really don't know. I was looking into. Well, my mom's a doctor, so I know. Not saying that I'm a doctor. I know how the medical field is, but
Sure.
I know the side effects of it, basically, and how things work, kind of. And safe to say that, kind of with my lifestyle of wanting to be into sports as well, I don't think I want to be a doctor or anything.
Sure.
My mom's a great doctor, but it's just not something I'm looking for. But I still am intrigued in medicine and not really as much into CS. So I was looking into sports med type of things, because I can still stay on brand with what I'm doing.
Sure.
And hopefully it'll better me as well, since I'm gonna hopefully, fingers crossed, still be playing for a while now. So yeah.
Interesting. So you're looking to go to school out of state? You're looking to stay in California? What are you looking to do?
I'm looking to stay in California, because there's good cricket there. I've lived in California my whole life, basically.
Sure.
But also North Carolina is also a huge hotspot for cricket. So, Bhumika Badiraju and Geetika Kodali, they both play on the USA team, and they both go to UNC Chapel Hill. And it's a great school. The cricket is amazing in North Carolina. I've played there a few times myself. So, yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to. I'll just apply and see whoever takes me, basically. Yeah.
Money question. Bearing in mind where you're sitting right now.
Yes.
Which is a better cricket stadium, Moosa or Church Street Park? Careful how you answer.
Ooh.
Careful how you answer.
Oh, sorry. That's really hard. Oh my God, I actually don't even know how to answer this one. I think, I've played on Moosa a bit more than in North Carolina. I think I've played there. I just played there for an NWCL tournament in 2019.
Okay.
No, I really, is there an option to not answer this one? Because I really don't know.
You're too young to be a politician. I need a straight answer.
Well, because I've scored a few times on Moosa, I would say Moosa.
What a great response.
Yes.
What an absolutely great
I
response.
got a few 50s on this ground, so I'll say it's this one, yeah.
All right, so 2 balls remaining. So
Yep.
let's turn back to this game for a second.
Yes.
Who is winning this game? Right now the score is 40 after 9.4. No 10 wickets in hand.
Yes.
Make it 9. So let's say Izzy was retired out.
Yes.
So 9 wickets in hand. The score is 40 after 9.5. Who's winning this?
Well, you know what? I just played a game with Houston actually, and it went down to the very last ball. So you can never. I don't think you can make bets like this. But right now, I would say that Houston is on top because they're only going, because other teams only going at a run rate of like 4.07 right now. So, I see Mithali playing that anchor role. She's playing that anchor role of kind of just staying in there, and she's doing good for her team like that. But if she just continues, I think she will continue to progress. But right now, I would say Houston's on top.
I would agree with you. I'd also say that if you ask me whose shoes would I prefer to be in now, whether Captain Celeste DeToy for Houston or Captain Ashwini Chavan for the Loudoun Cubs, I'd probably prefer to be Celeste. Speak of the devil.
Nice, Celeste. That was a good stop.
Lovely. So that is the end of 10. Halfway through, I'm going to release you to go do what you're doing.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing what you just did, and I appreciate always talking to you.
Thank you very much. I'll be glad to be back anytime.
You know what? Okay, don't just say that.
No,
I'm here by myself. Anytime you want to pop in.
If I'm not playing a game.
Yes. Pop in. Always happy to have you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye. So that was Annika Colan, one of the better young cricketers anywhere in the country. And I'm not just qualifying that by saying one of the better female cricketers. She's just an excellent all-round cricketer. And really wonderful to see her. So let's level set to where we are right now. We are at a short water break. 41 without loss after 10. And that is, let's take a few minutes to sort of reset. And then after the short break, we'll be right back.
You missed the developmental work.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
That's what she was here for.
No worries. Actually, this is just more airtime.
Boom, there it is. You know what? In fact, well, first, let's take a picture.
Yes.
And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about the match. Ready? Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to steal you back again for a few minutes.
Auntie, you can just go over there. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's on.
Okay, so I know we just said goodbye to you.
Yes, but you know what? I'm really glad to be back. I miss this place. It's been like a few seconds, but I'm
It
back.
has been all of like 30 seconds.
Yes.
But the reason why ostensibly you were in here was to accept the Player of the Match award from this morning. So for somebody who was not paying attention to what you did this morning, tell me what you did to be the Player of the Match.
I think so. We won our game against Houston. We just played in Moosa, I think field number 2. And I mean, whatever I did, it was for the team. You know the
exact numbers. Give me the exact numbers.
I actually don't. I was really surprised when everyone said I got my 50. Because I was just really into the game. So basically, our top order, like we sent in our top order, but they weren't doing as good as we wanted them to. So there were a few wickets, but the run rate was going pretty slow. So I kind of went in there, and I knew my goal was to just stay there throughout the end, kind of anchor and see how many runs we can get. But what I've learned is that, like, you're not going to get a 50 on, like, the second ball. Like, you have to stay there, play your time, see how the pitch is working and things like that. And I think I made most of my runs in the last over because there were 5 fielders outside, and I made sure that I told the umpire that there are 5 fielders outside so I can get that free hit. And then I got a few boundaries, so then I got my 50. And then I couldn't have done it without the support of my team, though. The running between wickets have been, like, phenomenal so far. A few runouts, but it's, like, what you learn from. And then in the fielding aspect, I think we just did everything we could. It was a nail-biter, and I think we did really great. There were some slip-ups, but we were strong from the forefront.
So I'm looking at the scorecard here. 52 runs scored from 34 balls with 7 boundaries. So you kept the scoreboard ticking without, just based on what I see here, you appear to not have been taking any risks, which seems to track exactly what you're saying. Now, what did you do in the field?
When I was batting?
No, in the field. When you kept, right?
Yes, I did keep.
Taking the catches?
No, I don't think I got any. I mean, I think there was an edge, but it wasn't called. So there was also stumping, but you know what? It's fine. Like, we won.
Who's even thinking about it? Even though you can tell me exactly where it happened in over 11.3.
Yeah, it's not replaying in my mind at all. No worries.
Okay, so then that gives you a trophy to take home
Yeah.
to match the other, 105 that you have at home?
You know what? I don't know about that. Hopefully one day.
I know you have several more trophies. Look, I'm an old fat guy who played cricket in the
Oh.
last century. I have a bunch of trophies at home. So I know you do. Come on, now tell me.
I mean, what do I really say to that? I don't really know. Like, thanks. Thanks.
Okay, this really is the last question. this
Okay.
time.
Uh-oh.
Based on, it's going to be, she'd collected that probably would have been out.
Yes.
But again, it's one of those situations where they're not necessarily scoring a lot of runs. So do
Yeah,
you really
so-
want to break the partnership? So given the success that you've had at this tournament, but compare that to the success that you've had playing at the highest level, how does this compare to the successes that you've had playing for the U.S.?
I think to get to the U.S. level, like, the most important thing. That was a really strong throw.
Yes, it was.
That was good. But the most important thing is to just just play however many games you can, and also flying out to different areas. Like, I know it could be expensive, but it's well worth it because you're kind of understanding how different environments work and things like that. So playing a lot of games, playing a lot of these women's tournaments, which have been spiraling, have just been booming since I started playing cricket. Playing women's tournaments, getting familiar with who you're playing with and things like that, and just playing at the grassroots level. That's just kind of how you build your way up. And, of course, performing in your inter-regionals, regionals, and nationals. Yeah.
Okay, I lied. One last question.
One last question.
What can you tell to a young cricketer who is 7, 8, 9 years old, who looks up and sees somebody like you who is actually a role model to them? What do you tell them about improving their game to get to your level?
Well, the most important thing you can do for yourself is just to have self-belief and always back yourself, because people are always going to say something. Like, trust me, I know people are always going to say something, but not giving in to not believing and not giving in to what they're saying, and just being mentally strong and just being yourself is the biggest justice you can do to yourself and your whole team. Because if you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, then you're going to be playing good and you're just going to be helping your team. So most important thing is just always back yourself and have self-confidence, and you'll eventually work yourself up. Just trust the process. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank
Once
you so
again,
much.
brilliant talking to
Thank you. Great to be back
right.
for the part 2.
And part 3, whenever you'd like it.
Whenever.
Very honestly, I am in
Perfect.
here by myself, and it's
I'll
so
for
much.
sure drop by.
No question. All right,
All
thank
right,
you, Annika.
perfect.
Talk
Thank
to
you
you
so
soon.
much.
Bye bye. So once again, back here after 11 overs, the score is 45 without loss. Mithali Patwardhan 24 from 36. Ashwini Chavan 4 from 6. And the bowler is Sairaj. Sairaj is a leg spinner. Sairaj Janapareddy. And so a really wonderful conversation for the last several minutes with the young superstar Annika Kolen. And I'll tell you that she is one of the brightest stars in all of USA cricket. Once again, not being limited to women. Struck on the pad. Not kind of a half-hearted appeal, not given by the umpire. So we're relatively deep into this match. We're into the 12th over. The current scoring rate is 4.06. So you're looking at an overall score of something around 120 at this projection. I'm sorry, of 80 at this projection, because it's not going to be, for the most part, scoring has not been easy. It has been good bowling, but some, I think, can be attributed to maybe a lack of intent from the batting side. 47 runs on the board into the 12th over. That's a full toss down the leg side, and it is judged to be wide. So some of it is a lack of intent. Some of it is good bowling, but I think it all adds up to an opportunity for these youngsters to show that they can go through the gears and they can become aggressive when they need to. And I think this is a situation with effectively 9 wickets in hand, because I believe that Izzy Slade-Jones was retired out, so she should not be able to come back in. But 9 wickets in hand, and we're into the 12th over. Would seem to be the type of situation where you could go all out. As of now, 48 runs on the board. Make that 49 runs on the board. And just Siraj is having trouble finding the right line. And this one is too straight, and it's clipped away behind square for 4. So welcome boundary here for Ashwini. Ashwini now moves up to 8 from 8. So she's actually striking it at a run a ball, which is important. You want to be able to get the type of score that would be indicative of an ability to go through the gears and be able to get the scoreboard ticking. As of right now, score of 53 after 11.3 would mean that they are projected to score 92 runs. And I don't think that 92 runs would be anything close to what they'd be looking for. Conditions are perfect for batting. Houston generally bats well, and you would think that that would create an opportunity for them to sort of go after any target that's set. And another wide ball down the leg side. So these are free runs that are being given to the Loudoun Cubs. Score now up to 55. And Siraj again just struggling to get the ball in the right areas. That's a better ball. And a wave and a miss outside off. The keeper for the Houston Hurricanes is, I believe, the Sainavi Kambalapali. And so 2 balls still remaining with the score 55, and this is yet another wide. So just situation probably requires somebody walking over to young Siraj, putting her arm around that person, and really it doesn't matter what is said to her. Just say something that will break the rhythm. She's in a negative rhythm and just need to do something that helps break that rhythm. Now, this is a better delivery. It's cut away to the fielder deep on the point boundary. And they get a single. So just 1 ball remaining here in the 12th. 57 is on the board. Siraj, 12 runs conceded from this over already, but a healthy percentage of those were in extras, in wides. And this is clipped to mid-wicket. Go for a quick run. Throw into the to the striker's end. But home safely is Ashwini. Make that Mithali. And all of a sudden, speaking of Mithali, once again, it is always a pleasure to be joined in the commentary area by cricketing royalty. And there is no greater cricketing royalty than this young lady who's seated next to me, Miss Mithali Chowdhury. Good afternoon, Mithali.
Good afternoon, Brian. It is just a privilege and an honor to be sitting right next to you.
Oh, you're killing me.
No, I'm not killing you. It's just wonderful. Every time I sit by and chat with you, it just makes my day. And again, belated happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you. I am starting the 20th anniversary of my 35th birthday. How about that?
All right. Love that. Love that. I can't calculate.
Good. So anybody who wants to know how old I am is going to have to do some math. I'm sorry. So first question I'm going to ask you is the number 2 bowler today, for the Houston Hurricanes. 3 very economical overs and didn't take a wicket but absolutely shut down the bowling. Young Tia Chowdhury. You've probably seen her play once or twice before in your life.
I think so.
Once or twice.
Once or twice, maybe only.
Tell us how difficult it is, and I've asked this question of several cricket parents. How difficult is it to watch your own child play on the field?
It is difficult sometimes. If you are, sitting with, like a parent in the audience and have nothing to do with the organizing, then maybe it's a little easier then that you're just watching and then you can, give the feedback later on. When you're managing a team and the player is part of the team, it is sometimes difficult because, as a manager, as a coach, you guide everybody along with the coach and give feedback. But then you got to restrict yourself, restrain yourself. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to do, is restrain myself because I don't want anybody pointing fingers, right? That, hey, that's a parent. Mm-hmm. And I'm not in the parent's role then, I'm in the manager's role. Mm-hmm. But when you're an audience, then it's easier. It's like, watch, see what you want them to improve on and provide the feedback later.
So for somebody who has played at the highest level, including internationally, by the way, for those who don't know, no, okay, I may have had that wrong. But you've played at the high level.
No, nothing. I haven't played at all.
Why don't I? Okay,
do you mix me up with someone else?
I've been misinformed. But you know cricket.
Yes.
And you've played essentially at a level that allows you to be able to impart that knowledge to others. Tell me about the role that you play as a mentor, not just as an official coach, but as a mentor to younger cricketers. How important is that?
Very important, because they train with their coaches, different kids, different players, different women, different girls. They coach with different people. But when they come together as a team, I think that's the only time I try my best not to talk a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Just give them a few basic rules because they travel from different cities. Like if you look at the Hurricanes team, most of them are from Houston, mm-hmm. but there are a few who are traveling and then they never get to practice together. Mm-hmm. So that's the time you kind of mentor them and talk to them. They're away from home. Maybe they don't have any family together. And I kind of focus on those business things rather than coaching them on the cricket skills. Okay. You got a coach for that. You have a captain. In our case, we have a lot of young players, mm-hmm. and they just look forward to this playing time because now they're playing against the women. Right? Mm-hmm. If you look at the team, they're pretty much from 12 to 17. We have most of our players, and then we have a few senior players. So it's a mentoring on those kinds. That stay calm, right? Listen to the captain, listen to the vice captain, listen mm-hmm. to the coach. They are the main. They're guiding you to the right place, and they play a lot themselves with the other youth. So sometimes they're setting the fields themselves, and they don't think that this is at a higher level. Mm-hmm. So those kind of mentoring is basically what I try to help out with.
So let's turn your attention to this game.
Mm-hmm.
13 overs in, and the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs have 64 runs on the board. So what are you thinking as a coach? How does this jive with what you wanted to see when your team was put into the field?
One more time, Brian, I'm just going to correct you on that. Sorry, but I'm the manager and we have a coach outside, but I'm part of the management team. Yes,
your team. My in the team. Sense yes, that you were in the same jersey as the ones in the field right now.
There you go. So my full support for these young girls.
You're so technical, my goodness.
I'm sorry. I don't want your listeners to say, when did Mithali become a coach? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are hearing and then thinking, when did Mithali Chaudhary become a coach? So just sorry about that, Brian, but just wanted to correct that. Okay, so definitely
you're not allowed to correct me, by the way.
Oh yes, sorry. Brian is right always. I think it was a very good start, and mm-hmm. even if you see the other games we've played here, we've done very good starts. Mm-hmm. We got to finish strong. That's the way I'm looking at it, right? Mm-hmm. So 10 overs, 41 runs, and now we're at 13, and we have 65.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost going to be 14, right?
13.4, 65.
13.4,
Right.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, they definitely need to take wickets. They definitely need to field well, take the catches, get those runouts in. Mithali is one of the key players, a USA player, right? And she has all the experience. Very good player. I shared my name with her. She's my namesake. She's Mithali Patwardhan. And I have, good skill sets.
Oh, well
with
done.
the
Look
girl.
at that
So look
piece
at
of
that.
fielding.
Yeah.
That was
superb.
skillful.
That was Chaudhary on the line. That was Tia Chaudhary on the boundary.
So she's seen some cricket before here or there. I don't know if we can get a replay of that from the larger screen or from the overhead camera shot, but if we were able to see that again, that was a diving stop by Tia and immediately got it and flipped it to her teammate, who was
Dania.
close by, Dania, and threw it right to the striker's end. What a beautiful piece of fielding.
Yeah. So they need to stop these ones and twos because that's the rotating that right now I think they're doing pretty well. And team Houston needs to pick up that on the field, get some wickets out there and, restrict them to below 100.
Restricting them to below 100. The current score is 68 after 14. At this exact scoring rate of 4.92, they would get to
5 times 20 is 100. So pretty much.
98.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're in 98 for me, batting first under probably the best batting conditions that you'll get for the rest of this tournament. To me, that would have been an undercooked score. But talk about how important it is to have the mentality when you go into bat. Look, those runs have already been scored. There's runs on the board. And it's our job to ignore how well they did or didn't do. Our job is now to go and knock those runs off.
Absolutely. And we have a good team. We have some good batters and we have good all-rounders. And if it's restricted less than 100, definitely we can get there, cross the boundary, cross the line this time. We played 3 games. Every game has been so close. The last game was lost by 1 run.
Wow.
Game before that had bad light, so we lost that because of DL by 5 wickets. I don't know. It says by 7 runs on the DL thing, but I thought if you bat first, then the team wins by wickets, right?
If the team that is chasing wins, then you win by a number of wickets.
Yeah.
Right.
But they somehow, because of the DL thing, I think they got mixed up.
Got it.
But long story short, every game, and the game against Atlanta Fires, that was a game. You must have seen it from here. And a very good game of cricket, right? Atlanta has a lot of experienced players.
Yes.
And with this young team here, I think they gave a good fight, brought it close. They're only going to learn and get better.
Completely.
Isn't it?
That's exactly right. And, when I sit here, under no circumstances do I ever root. But as somebody who basically played in the league here for as long as I did, I have an affinity for anyone who is loosely associated with Houston and certainly who's from Houston. And so from my perspective, I love to see the young ladies who are here, who are based here in Houston, excel, particularly if they're young ladies. So Tia, certainly, I'd put both Tias in that group. I'd certainly put Rhea, who I've known for a very long time, in that group because I've known her family for a long time. So how important is it to have the facility here and the infrastructure here that will sort of allow for young cricketers to be able to develop?
I mean, there are no 2 words to describe that. These girls or these players have no idea what they're getting at this age, right? So we got the Moosa on the south side here, and we got the Prairie View on the north side.
My goodness, yes.
And some of these players are getting to play there. Their parents are committed. They're playing in tournaments all the time on turf, and it just, there is no 2 words about it. It's excellent facilities for them to play. And I know some of the senior players who must have already played for the USA and never got that chance. They directly went on the turf and played some matches for the country.
Exactly.
But these girls at this age are coming and playing these tournaments, they can only get better every day.
It is a wonderful thing. And look, if you've seen cricket all around this country, as I have, the facilities that are here are so okay. I always get in trouble when I say this. Playing across the line and not given. I always get in trouble when I say this because people on the East Coast bare their teeth when they hear me say this. The facilities in this part of the country are so far to superior to anything that you will see either in New York or really up and down the East Coast, maybe with the slight exception of South Florida. But it is so important that you have these facilities to be able to assist the kids in doing exactly what you say. As you see here on this replay coming up. In fact, let me check that thought and tell me what you saw on this replay on this LBW shout.
I mean, to me, that's a good appeal.
It's certainly a good appeal.
Yeah.
Now, looking at, obviously, the umpire has one shot to look at it.
Yeah.
For me, that might have just been shaving leg stump, but I think it's close enough.
Close enough.
As
close
an
enough.
umpire, you don't
I
give that.
wish they had the DRS.
I'm sorry, I forgot where your loyalties are.
I know, and then we have a very excellent bowler inside that mind. I mean, she's a USA player. She's getting a lot of experience on the global level now. She played the under-19, got back, and I think if she keeps going the way she is, she's a good bowler. So, but yeah, it was a good appeal by them.
Sure.
And what's the interruption here? Oh, so did they get it?
No,
But
not exactly.
The batter is just changing the cap.
Okay. So for me, and by the way, it is now 2:04. Part of the development of these young players, I think, is going to be understanding how to keep the game moving. Now, just from an organizational standpoint, when you have 3 games that you're going to be going starting from, say, the first game started about 9:30, and you're going to squeeze 3 games in, the last that ends around 7:15. You're going to have to get that last game started, around 4, I would think. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for this game to be played.
Yep.
So part of the job of the umpires in this case is going to be to avoid unnecessary delays like this, because this has been about a 4-minute delay, and you don't get those minutes back at the back end of the day.
Absolutely. And that was the tough thing yesterday with the weather, right? The first game Houston Hurricanes played was 8 overs. The second one was 16 overs, and then we had bad daylight. So the game got called. The game got finished earlier than 1 over, so we lost that. And now today, we had a late start because of the dew, right, in the morning. And those are some things, I guess. It is very difficult to organize. It takes a village to organize these kind of things. And, our organizer traveling from outside has managed to get this done, get these games in. I'm pretty sure everyone you cannot make happy. But me being an organizer myself, and my tournament coming up in April, which is the Houston Open at Prairie View on the 14th, 15th, and 16th myself. I mean, we understand with weather, some things are just uncontrollable, right? And today with this, we're hoping that the third game gets enough overs and...
Oh, look at that throw. That's Tia again, isn't it?
Yep.
Direct hit from the covers. That is brilliant work.
And direct hit, right?
Yes, absolutely. Direct hit.
But the batter made it.
She appeared to have made it, but that does not diminish in any way the accuracy of that throw. Quick pickup. I'd love to see a replay of that. A quick pickup and a throw. Direct hit at the striker's end. My goodness, that is good work. Here we see replay on demand also.
All right.
Look at this. Look at this pickup. Moving to her left. Alters her body, and quick throw and a direct hit from probably 20 yards away. That is great work. And a great camera work. I really love the fact that I can just call up a replay and I get it immediately.
That's awesome. That's what you are. You're Brian Wolf.
Oh, my goodness. That has much less to do with me and much more to do with the professionalism of the media team here. It is second to none.
So let's give a big round of applause and a kudos to the media team.
Oh, my goodness. No, that doesn't get said enough, actually.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, as somebody who has done commentary in several different areas in this country, team here, second to none.
None,
And
right.
there's no way to overstate that.
So as part of a theater group in my younger days, I always know that people who work in the background, in a theater, the stars and the actors and the actresses get all the kudos. But all those people behind the scenes,
Yes.
right, never get talked about.
Oh,
And-
laughter down the ground. Look at that catch. That is a clean catch. That is
And-
Pooja, I believe.
Yes, Pooja Shah gets the catch of Ashwini Chavan.
That is brilliant work because not only does she have to catch it, but she has to be aware of where she is, maintaining control of her body to make sure she doesn't step over the rope. For those of you who don't know, if she catches that ball but then steps on or over the rope, it's not a wicket, it is 6 runs. And look at that. See there on the replay, able to not only catch it but keep her body inside of the field of play. That is a brilliant piece of work. And in looking to see where her feet were, she almost bobbled that ball. The ball almost came loose, but she managed to hold on and at the same time stay inside the field of play.
Yep. Brilliant work, Pooja Shah. And that brings the first wicket down for Loudoun Cubs. And I'm sure the Hurricanes now need to tighten it up more so they can keep them restricted to the score they can come across.
So
Right.
that is 79 for 1 after 16.
Yep.
This is really good going.
I do not know why you have 2 different names. Where did Mithali go?
Don't know.
So I guess there's some
as-
technical issues with the scorecard.
As much as you and I have been talking, we may have just missed it.
No, but the wickets didn't fall, right? 79 for
now,
1.
did they retire one of the batters?
They did the first one,
Right.
and that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
But Mithali, patwa done.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have that answered soon, but
Soon.
it is certainly the case that Mithali is not at the crease. So the 2 batters are Kamal Shettigar and Mamata Swami. So let's say probably Mithali is retired hurt, maybe? Yep, retired hurt. So the top 2 retired hurt. And this is now a new bowler coming from the Pearland end.
Kirtana
And this
Boya.
Oh my goodness, had that been collected, that very well could have been a run out. So Kirtana, tell us about Kirtana.
Yeah. Kirtana is an 8th grader.
Did you say 8th grader?
Yeah. 8th grader. Most of
Oh
the girls
my
are. Either they
goodness.
are the 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders. And we got a few in the high school. And then we have some, we have one, I guess. That's Celeste.
Mhm. Yes, yes.
So, Kirtana is a medium pace bowler. Very good. She moved from New Jersey.
Okay.
So till the last year, she was residing in New Jersey, and in August 2022, they moved to Houston. And I really feel proud of these committed parents. They have just moved here for their daughter's cricketing career.
Oh my goodness.
It just amazed me,
That
and
is
I have a
stunning.
lot of respect.
Absolutely stunning. I mean, just when you think just as a professional, you know, you have a day job, you're established in a city. It's so unbelievable to think that you'd pick up everything and move all the way across the country. That outside edge goes fortuitously for 4. She didn't mean it there. She was looking to play through the covers, Kamal. But it came off the outside edge and went for 4. These are welcome runs.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, to move all the way across the country because you see a better opportunity for your own daughter on the cricket field. That's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah, this is like two families, and one of them is Kirtana, and the other one's Lasya Bandaru, who's a all-rounder, batting all-rounder. And so these 2 families just packed the bags and decided, no, we're going to go to Houston because that's the mecca of cricket now.
Absolutely stunning. That is really, really amazing to hear. It's another good delivery and a good piece of fielding. So the keeper is
Sainavi.
Sainavi Kambalapali.
Yes.
First of all, how did they do on the pronunciation?
Very good. I am impressed.
Secondly, tell us about her.
So Sainavi Kambalapalli is from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, okay?
And Wisconsin doesn't have cricket. So Sainavi's parents take her and her brother Shiva every weekend to Chicago.
Wow.
And that's where the girl's been, she's been playing. She plays the MLC Junior, and she's been playing for the women's cricket since the last year. I think even before that, but that's where I saw her when she started playing in the women's leagues. And she is predominantly a batter, leg spinner, and today she's helping us with the keeping.
Stunning.
So our keeper got a little bit injured. Hiranya Talan Singh, and I have to say a few words for Hiranya.
Please.
The girl just started playing cricket not even 4 months. She was a baseball player and moved on to play cricket. And she has picked the game so quickly.
Wow.
She's keeping so well. I mean, it was just amazing to see her. And she's been putting in a lot of hours of coaching, training, practice, a lot of commitment from the parents. Again, another 8th grader from the city of Sugarland. And she's been, we had a junior tournament. She kept wickets continuous for 3 days, around 90 overs, And
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe. I thought, it's going to be like, okay, I can do only so much, manager. You're going to change me. And no, there was nothing of that sort, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see all these young girls now coming up, trying their best, wanting to play cricket. And the WPL's helping that too.
Yes.
So they're watching that. They're watching so many games. And, hopefully they have some excellent idols like, the wicket keepers in the world. Alisa Healy, my favorite. And I'm sure these girls are going to go places.
Absolutely stunning. So we're into the last 3 overs. 89 for 1 is the score. I think even at the current rate of 5.24, they'll get just over 100. The projected right now to be at 105. But I think they'll want more than that. So I would like to think that they could potentially throw caution to the wind and get hopefully what you would think would be some total that would at least allow the Houston Hurricanes to have to put pedal to the metal to find it. Or maybe, again, I'm asking the wrong person, maybe you want an easy victory inside the 12th over.
So these girls, as I said, these players, these girls, along with Celeste, they've all been really working hard. And 3 games played brought it so close. And now one win under their belt is really going to mean a lot to them.
Fantastic. Well, Mithali, I've been told that there's another interviewee who's going to be on the way. So I will extend an invite to you. Whenever you look through this window and see that nobody else is in here, feel free to come around and join, because it's so much more fun communicating with 2 people as opposed to 1 person trying to describe the action. So
Thanks
the invitation is yours at any time that you'd like it.
Thank you so much, Brian. As I said, it's always an honor and privilege to sit by you and chat and commentate, because we can have fun talking about all this.
Always,
right?
always. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Fantastic. So see you soon.
See you soon. I enjoy talking.
It's nice and cool in here.
Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Stadium. Why do you think I commentate all day? So welcome back to Moosa. 2 overs remaining. The score is 91 for 1. The Chickadees, Loudoun Cubs have chosen to bat first, and the young lady immediately to my right is the one who made the decision to have a bat. So, Ashwini, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to meet you. Tell me, first of all, now it's on. Tell me, first of all, about you specifically. For those of us who don't know you, and yes, that does include me, tell me a little bit about you and then talk a little bit about where you are in the game.
Okay.
And I understand you don't have a lot of time because this is like,
Almost last
exactly, 2 overs left. So be quick.
So, like in terms of cricket, I grew up playing cricket. I don't remember when I even started playing. It was mostly, gully cricket with boys.
Sure.
That's how I started. I think that's how every girl starts in India. I just started playing with the leather ball. This was just 4 years ago. So until then, I had never played
Really?
with leather ball or with all the gear on. So that was quite a dream come true for me. And
That is
playing here
interesting.
it's been awesome.
That is
Yeah.
really interesting. Sometime between the rest of today and tomorrow, come back in and say more about that because I want to hear.
Oh,
But
sure.
in the meantime, I want to hear what your thoughts are about where you are in this game right now.
So I know we are a little bit behind the expected run rate that we wanted to go for, but it's. I think we are trying. We are trying. We are doing our best. We are getting runs wherever we can. We are not getting the big shots, but we're trying to sneak in, get those singles, doubles wherever we can, and. I think that's what we are. We're trying to get as many runs as possible in whatever balls, in the remaining balls that we have.
So, what is your mindset as a captain when you are halfway through the innings or halfway through the match? You've completed your innings and you have a score on the board that maybe is not as high as you'd like. What do you tell your troops and how do you get them prepared to go into the field and defend those runs?
If we do not have, I think it's going to be very simple. Try and stop them as early as possible,
Sure.
get those wickets, cut down those singles, put pressure on them. Bowling, be strict, keep your line and length, make the batsman work hard.
Where are you from? You said you're from Mumbai, but
Yes.
where in the U.S. do you live?
I live in a suburb of Boston called Andover.
Landover.
Andover.
Oh, Andover, Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland?
No, Andover, Massachusetts.
There's an Andover,
Yes,
Maryland,
there
and an
is.
Andover, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know the geography on the East Coast as much as I should. Okay, and how long have you been there?
It'll be 20 years now.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you moved from Mumbai directly to Andover.
To Massachusetts, yes. Yeah. Moved
What-
around in Massachusetts a bit, but
Okay.
have been in Andover for around 13, 14 years now.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what is cricket like there? I know in this part of the country we can play cricket
Yeah.
10 months out of the year. I'm assuming you can't do that there.
No, it's very difficult.
Right.
We cannot get outside until it's springs or later May.
Are you
That's
serious? My
it's
goodness.
later May until end of October. It's still too cold. It starts getting cold.
Wow.
The ground gets hardened up.
Sure.
It's difficult. The days, shortened days. So it gets difficult. Plus, us being, women's team, we do not get that much play time because more focus has been on the men's and the youth cricket team. We are a very young team. I mean, in terms of experience, we are.
You can compliment yourself if you'd like now. So clearly, very, very young. Yes, keep going.
In terms of experience, and we just got started. We want to keep this going on, and we have a lot of passionate players, women players, in Boston, back in Boston, and. That's how we have got this team, and we have a few youngsters who are coming in to join us, and we are very excited about that. And we have a couple of experienced players, who've actually played for India, and back hometown.
Sure.
So yeah, I think we're just getting started.
Are you referring to Mira Subramaniam?
Mira Subramaniam. We have Mithali, who's played state level cricket,
So, by the way, you're now over 100. So,
Awesome.
you're into
Go
the last
Chickadees.
over. Exactly. So, you're now into the last over. So, I know you're going to have to leave sometime soon. But what are your expectations for your team for the rest of this tournament?
We came here with the mindset to get this experience. Most of us, many of my team members haven't played a tournament before, like this. We don't get to play as many.
Sure.
So this was kind of we wanted to get that experience. We had a mindset to get good runs, bowl well, see how it feels, because it's different versus indoors practice versus outdoors. It just is like the first time we even playing outdoors this year because of the weather.
Sure.
So it's been quite an experience.
That's fantastic. And in the remaining, a wicket just fell. Apparently, I missed that.
Yeah.
so you have 5 balls remaining.
You have to go.
I know you'll have to go in a second.
No, I think they have to get going as well. So that's okay. A wicket down at this time.
You do have 8 wickets in the shed, so you're probably going to be okay there. You won't get bowled out.
Yeah.
But how much, I'm curious, and this might be too late to get into this conversation. So, by the way, anytime that you're walking by and you see that there's nobody in here, feel free to drop in. I'm serious. Otherwise, I'm talking by myself the entire time.
It's nice and cool here. You could
It's
just stay here
cool,
the whole
but
day.
it's cool, and having somebody else, that's the bonus.
To chat.
Exactly. But not having played as a team, as a group in tournaments like this very often, what's the biggest switch between, let's say, knocking the ball around in an indoor facility and coming here playing like this?
It's outdoor, it's so many outdoor factors that come in mind. It's the wind, it's the heat, it's, the
Welcome
way
to
the
Texas.
ball, the pitch, for example, right? All that makes so much difference in indoors versus outdoors. So if we can get as much experience outdoors, that's how that's going to help us. That's how we're going to grow. And we are hoping to get that and try to get into as many tournaments as possible as a team. Our main aim is to get that for our team. Do that for our team.
That is really good to know. And then finally, what do you think the younger players are going to take away from this experience?
I think it's for the youngsters. I think they're learning from all this. They're watching the other young players. They're watching the kids their age. They're watching because they have so much experience. They practice so much. They get so much outdoors time. They get watching how they play, how they field. The running between the wickets, all this is so much important. Even that one sneaky single, putting pressure on the fielder, being out there is an experience of its kind.
Completely. So coming back for the second run here.
Awesome.
So there is Padma Gayatri just got 2 runs, got off the mark with those 2 runs. That was the last ball of the over. So last ball of the innings. 103 runs on the board. For a while there, you were projected to be around 70. So it's an improvement towards the back end of the innings. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And I'm absolutely serious. Anytime you walk by and see that there's nobody in here, feel free to drop in. Okay?
Will do. Thank
Wonderful
you so much.
talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, so that is the end of the innings. Thank you very much to you.
Nice talking to you.
Really good talking to you, Ashwini. So, what did I just... Okay, so that is the end of the innings. 103 for 2 is your final score. Just looking through the scorecard really quickly. Is Slade Jones, 6 from 24. Mithali Patwardhan, 34 from 44. Ashwini Chavan, who you just heard from, 17 from 25. Kamal Shettigar, 13 from 15. Mamata Swami, 11 from 7. And Padma Gayatri Srinivasan, 2 from 5. 20 wides. And the overall score is 103.2, which means that after a short break, the Houston Hurricanes will be looking to score 104 runs to take victory from the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. So let's just take a quick break. Wonderful to be able to bring you the descriptions of this match, and we'll be here for the rest of today and, weather permitting, tomorrow as well. So always just remember that we were right here, and I guess you can take a quick break along with us. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Stadium in Pearland, Texas. We're ready for the chase, where the Houston Hurricanes have the small matter of overhauling 104 runs. The Chickadees scored 103, probably a little bit less than what they'd have wanted to score, but runs on the board are runs on the board. And so the Houston openers, Ria Nadkarni and Lassia Bandaru, have been at the wicket. Not very often that you see the opening batters make their way to the field before the fielding side, but that's the case here. So I'm happy to be joined here in the commentary area by this young lady who, very honestly, may be the youngest person in all of U.S. cricket, Sai Uni. Did I nail that?
Yep, you did.
Sai, good morning. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you in the commentary area. I'm interested, first of all, in knowing first about this match that we're currently playing and then about you more generally. Tell me what your thoughts were about this match. How did you think the team did? How did you do?
I think the way we started, we weren't able to take any wickets, but we surely bowled well in terms of dot balls, and we didn't really let them score much. And after the halfway mark, they were actually, I don't know exactly how much they were, but for sure the second half we did give away a few runs. For sure we would have liked at least 10, 15 runs less than what they ended up with. But our batting lineup is actually really strong, and I'm pretty sure we should easily be able to chase this down. We came till the last over in the last 3 matches and unfortunately lost all of them. But we were able to get to scores of 130, 140. So this is surely, hopefully, much easier in terms of the score. But yeah, for sure, I think we should chase it down.
That's interesting, and I like the confidence. This opening bowler is Captain Ashwini Chavan. This is short outside the off stump, and an attempted pull trickles behind square. Should come back for 2, but they don't. And that's probably a good decision, too, because that throw came right back in. So, yes, I think I agree completely with you. And, in fact, in looking at my own sort of private sheet here that we're just talking about, it shows that there's 66% of the deliveries were dot balls. So when 6 out of every 10 balls are dot balls, that's tremendous pressure that your bowling side is building up. How important is that?
That's extremely important. I think every single dot ball counts, and it's extremely important, especially in the back end. Puts pressure on the batters, and even though you're looking for wickets, dot balls are always a great way to get those wickets, because they're always, the batter's under pressure, they're like, oh, we need to score, and then they give away their wicket in some way. So yeah,
I think you're exactly right. You know, if you're playing test cricket, then you have to take wickets. You can literally play a T20, not take any wickets, and be ahead of the game. Because if you give up 2 runs and over, even if you're not taking any wickets, that's 40 runs in a T20, and that puts you in a position to win. So I think I take your point. Now, tell me about how you specifically did with the ball. First of all, tell everybody, given that you're on the USA team, what role do you play on the USA team? And then relate it to how you did in this game.
I'm a leg spinner for the USA women's and under-19 team, and I'm basically a middle over bowler, and that's about it for me. I'm a leg spinner, and in this game in particular, I think there were a few chances and a few runouts that were missed. And I think our fielding was better than our last game, but for sure there were a few, like our bowling wasn't as consistent as should have been. And I think that's something that we need to surely work on for tomorrow. But our fielding was much better, which was a great improvement. But in terms of bowling, for me, I could have been a little bit more consistent. But in terms of my line and length, but I think it was pretty good for this game. Look to get better tomorrow for sure.
So I look at these things from a pretty normal point of analysis. 4 overs, none for 18. That tells me that, well, that doesn't tell me. The scorecard tells me that your economy rate was 4.5. The overall score in 20 overs was 103, which is more than 5 runs and over, which means that your own economy rate is less than the overall team's economy rate. So don't sell yourself short. You actually bowled on average better than all of the bowlers in your side.
I mean, obviously, my goal here is to contribute as much as I can to the team, and wickets are important, even though dot balls are also important. So my goal was to see how many wickets I can get here, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any wickets, but at least I was able to bowl accurately, at least to most of the spell.
So, I hate to repeat myself. For me, it's more important in a format like this. I look less on the number of wickets taken and more at your economy rates. Because once again, it's not a test match. So if you bowl 18 overs and go none for 30, in a test match, that doesn't mean anything. If you bowl 18 overs and go 5 for 70, that means a lot because you're getting people out. But in this format of the game, where it is limited overs, you have a limited number of balls to bowl. Any ball that you bowl that the opposition is not scoring off of is an advantage. It's a huge advantage. So for me, that makes a whole lot more sense. Now, with regard to this game, 7 runs from the first over. And Izzy Slade-Jones has the ball in hand, bowling from the Pearland end. First of all, have you played against Izzy before?
I have not.
Okay.
I've seen her play in other tournaments, but I've never faced her or bowled to her before.
So what do you think? First of all, are there any of the players in the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs against whom you've played before?
I've played against Mithali Patwardhan. I don't know if she's keeping today, but she's a keeper batter, and she's played for the under-19 team for USA. And she's actually a very good batter in terms of technique and all that. So today I think she retired out after the first half of the game. And I've played with her in the under-19 tournaments.
Sure.
I've played against her as well. Yeah, for sure.
My impression from having seen this team and from having spoken to the captain, Ashwini, is that they are extremely enthusiastic. They're a little inexperienced in terms of not having played together for a long time, but they're a good, enthusiastic side. And, the captain was saying that they live mostly in the Northeast. In that part of the country, you don't have the opportunity to play cricket as often as we do down here.
Right, yeah.
But I think for the most part, they're a good side that just needs some experience and needs some the ability to continue playing together. So they haven't won very many matches so far, but I think overall they're a good team that just needs to stay in the oven a little bit longer, if that makes sense. Okay, so first of all, who's winning this game?
I think for sure, if I have to say the neutral way, for sure it's Houston, because right now we look in a dominating position.
Your enthusiasm. All right. Enthusiasm,
but for sure,
yes.
we're dominating. We're rotating strike really well. We means Houston Hurricanes. Rotating strike really well.
Okay, maybe I didn't say about the cardinal rule of being in the commentator's box. There's no we.
Exactly, the Houston Hurricanes.
I'm just joking. Of course, you can say we all you want.
But yeah, they've been rotating strike these two really well, and also scoring at a good rate. So I think for sure it's an appeal there. But yeah, for sure, I think the way they're batting, we should be able to chase this down quite easily.
I've seen Rhea Nadkarni play for a long time. Taking it back several years before either of you was born, I played against her husband, her father, Sushil. Now, growing up in a cricket family, first of all, tell me about your own family. Is there anybody else in your family who plays cricket?
No one in my family plays like professionally or played professionally, but they love cricket. Like, if I got into cricket, it's because of them, and just
Fantastic.
me watching cricket with them, and just getting interest in the sport, and just loving it, and just wanting to play as soon as possible.
So, I'll compare you to Rhea Nadkarni for a second, just from the standpoint of each of you having taken different pathways to play cricket. She grew up in a family where an older brother plays, where her father was the captain of the national team. You grew up in a family where you're cricket enthusiasts, but nobody really plays at a high level, such that you are now the highest level player in your family. What does that mean to you as a 15-year-old?
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling to know that I've come here and I'm able to play for the country in just 2 years. And I started in 2021. And
Wait, stop. Did I just hear you say you started playing cricket in 2021?
yes,
Really?
yeah.
So how did you become such a high-level cricketer doing the most difficult thing that it is to do on a cricket field, which is bowl leg spin? How is that possible?
I think like professionally starting training in 2021, like I was pretty much, I didn't know much. Like all I knew was just how to hold the ball, how to hold the bat, but nothing more than that. But after that, I think it was just, there are not many leg spinners here, like in the US. Now there are a lot more coming in. But before, like when I started, there are no leg spinners. So I kind of looked to work more on my bowling because that's something that my coaches said was my strength. So I looked to work more on that, get better at my leg spin, and that's what took me to the USA team, both under 19 and women's. I think the skill of leg spin, it is a difficult one. It took me forever. I'm still learning so much. Like, it's...
Understand that there are people who played cricket for 10, 15, 20, 30 years who cannot bowl leg spin. It is not easy. I'm amazed that you've been able to pick that up in the course of 2 years.
Thank you.
That's stunning. So if you told me, okay, I just started playing 2 years ago and then I'm an off spinner, that I can understand because off spin is a more natural action.
Right.
Bowling leg spin is completely different and much more difficult. And it is a testament to your skill level that you can pick that up inside 2 years. That's incredible. So in this game, 2 overs in, 18 without loss. So another 86 runs to go. 86 runs to get in 108 balls. So if you had a win predictor, where would your win predictor, what percentage would your win predictor say for each team right now?
Ooh. I need a, okay. I would say 100 Houston Hurricanes, but then I'm going to like
Look
think
at
a little
this.
bit.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let me just...
I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, I think the running between the wickets for us has also been something that we'd look to keep improving every game.
Oh my goodness.
The calling
I'd
and
love
just
to
running.
see a replay on this because this could have been I could have collected the ball and run it from here and run out.
She decided
one
to
of
throw
those
it from
two
the
batters.
side, yeah.
Boy, she takes 2 steps over and breaks the wicket herself. That is an easy run out.
But I think maybe 90-10.
I noticed
Maybe
that
90-10.
you just backed off of your 100.
90-10. 90 is still 90 though.
90 is still 90.
90,
I'll absolutely give you that. So your win predictor being 90-10. What would need to happen for the team that has a 10% chance of winning right now, according to you, would win this game?
I think putting the pressure on the batters, like you said, dot balls, that's extremely important. And extras, that's a huge thing as well in this format. Like extras, wides, no balls. I mean, they have to cut down on those extras. And basically dot balls, extras, and also wickets, of course. Put pressure on them, they'll give away their wicket in some way, but I think that's the best way.
I would have to think that they would have to bowl Houston out in order to win, because I don't think you restrict a team to say to less than 100
Yeah.
and not have them be bowled out.
So putting the pressure on them and then taking wickets.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are the captain of the Loudoun or the Chickadee Loudoun Cubs, what are you telling your teammates right now?
Okay. As a captain, I would say no pressure. Just bowl accurate, like try to bowl as consistent as you can, line and lengths wise. And dot balls, look for the wickets, but at the same time, look to bowl as accurate as possible with dot balls. Just dot balls. Start with dot balls. And then as dot balls are coming, look for the kill, like go for the kill, go for the wickets. And then I think that's the best way to do it. Like immediately trying to go for wickets like right away might not work immediately, especially with the start that Houston has gotten already. Might look to get first dot balls, at least an over, maybe 1 run or 2 runs off it. A couple overs like that would put pressure on the batters, and then they could look for wickets immediately.
You mentioned several balls ago that running between the wickets is a bit of an issue, and I think we just saw evidence of it there, because that ball was hit directly to mid-on and they immediately took off running. And this is a full toss that is creamed away over the top for 4. Absolutely smoked, actually.
Yep. Smack.
That is a good shot. So that is Ria Nadkarni.
That's Lassia Bandar.
Oh, my apologies. Scorecard having trouble keeping up. So thank you for the correction.
No problem.
Lassia, what's Lassia's last name? It is Bandaru.
Yeah.
Lassia blasting that one over the covers. So that is 4 to end things here in the third. So 3 overs, 25 runs. Where's your win predictor now?
95.5.
It jumped up 5 percentage points after 1 over. All right, 95.
It's gonna keep changing, you know? But at the moment, Houston looks like they're dominating for sure.
All right, and then I'll ask you a different question. And stepping away from this specific match and more about the entire tournament, what were your goals coming into the tournament, and have you realized them yet so far?
Yeah, I think my main goal was just not as specific, but to contribute to the team in whatever way possible. The ball, with the bat, in the field. Just give it my 100% best out there. Put in my 100% effort, and just contribute to the team. That's just my main goal, because this is a team game, and at the end, the win matters, right? And the first 3 games, like I said before, we ended up in the losing side in the last over, like 5 runs, 1 run this morning. And they were really close games, really good matches, but competitive, but we weren't able to win. So I think for me, my goal was, from the start, was to contribute to the team in whatever way possible.
So you have a very team-oriented focus. At the same time, you have to have in the back of your mind your own stats, because ultimately your own personal stats is what gets you to the highest levels. So what sort of goals did you set for yourself personally? I know you have the team goals and you want the team to win, but what personally did you set for yourself?
Yeah, bowling goals, as my main strength is bowling, was to put as much pressure as I can to on the batters, just bowl as accurate as possible. My main goal was to not give any extras, and the control, right? As a leg spinner, sometimes the control is difficult.
Oh my God, yes.
And for me especially, I've had to get so many changes in my bowling because of the control, the lack of control. And that's why when I came into this tournament, I knew I had to be as consistent as possible, as accurate as possible. Line and length is the most important thing here. And there's nothing like, I don't have to do too much, right? Like unplayable deliveries, but it's just line and length. They won't be able to play you. It's good balls, they'll respect the good balls, right? And then if they look to play or hit out your good balls, they'll get out in some way. So I think that was the most important thing, was just to be as consistent as possible. Batting is just whenever I get a chance to bat, just go out there with my full intent and look to at least rotate, strike, and then do whatever the team needs me to, like in terms of scoring runs and not just getting out in a way I don't want to get out. Fielding, of course, everything.
So tell me about, what a good ball. That is a great ball.
Yorker.
That spectator catch that time. You hear some applause from outside. I think they thought that was a catch. But give me a sense of your strengths as a bowler. Give me, what is your stock ball, and then what is the change-up delivery, and tell me a little bit about how you approach bowling from that standpoint.
Yeah, my stock ball is a leg spinner, of course. That's a delivery that I really have control over. Like, I enjoy bowling that delivery because I know, like, I'll be consistent in that good area that I need a bowl. And my change-up deliveries are googly, and I have a couple different ways to bowl googly, and also gonna call it a slider or a flipper. I have a couple different grips, but whichever one comes out well on that day, it all just matters on that day, whichever grip comes perfectly well.
Oh, shot.
Shot. That is an excellent shot.
Absolutely lovely shot. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me just a second. So 34 without loss after 4. So if the production team can get the camera on us very soon, I'd like to have the audience see from the standpoint of a USA national player. You just described your googly and you just described your stock ball, which is a leg spinner. I'd like for you to show the camera how you bowl the googly, how you bowl the stock ball.
So the stock ball is basically a grip of 2 fingers, and your ring finger is the one that has to be used to turn the ball. So this is how I hold the grip, and I usually just use the ring finger, and it's like side on, and your palm should be facing, I guess, covers. That's for the leg spinner. And the googly is basically you use your ring finger, maybe a little bit of your pinky as well. For me, I use my ring finger and my pinky. And when you bring it out, you bring it from the back of your hand. So your palm should be facing the batter. So it would basically come out like this, if you're showing the camera.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And
so
yeah,
first of all, explain how difficult that is to pick up. I can tell you right, I am 55 years old. I turned 55 this week. There is no way in the world I can do what you just showed. So express how difficult that is.
Yeah, it is actually really difficult. It took me a long time to get just the grip right for the googly. And there are a lot of struggles, like not only just getting the grip right, it was also if the batters could read you or not, because in one way you can be extremely accurate, but sometimes like if you come in a different way when you're bowling the googly compared to the leg spinner, the batters can read you if they see your arm well, and that's like highest level batters.
Sure.
So I needed to learn how to bowl the same kind of like hand position and everything, but just change my grip a little bit. So all of those things took me time, and I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect yet, right? I'm still always learning, always getting better. So yeah, in terms of the grip and all that, it took me time to get it right, but now it's like a very useful delivery. I'll tell you that. It works.
I would say yes.
If you pitch it in the right spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So once again, we're treating this like a training class for people who don't know cricket. When would you bowl your googly? What would need to be the situation? In fact, just talk about how you set a batsman or batter up to be able to, you go leg spinner, leg spinner, leg spinner, and then googly. When do you decide to bowl the googly?
So first, I start with my stock delivery, and I mean, I first look to get my rhythm right in terms of my consistency for my leg spinner. Once I get that right, and I also look at how the batters are playing it. Like, let's say they're playing my leg spinner really well. I throw in a googly, and I look to pitch it in the right area. Again, that matters.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's once I get my rhythm right for my leg spinner, then I look to bowl my googlies and sliders and all that. And also the batters, of course. Observe their strength and their weakness. Like, are they playing cuts and back foot punches to the leg spinners, or are they getting cramped? Like, what should I do, like, based on their weak shots? Like, what are they not able to do well? What should I bowl? So that it takes time for me. I make mistakes, but I mean, it's all about learning from them.
There is no way you're 15 years old. I'm sorry. There's just I am going to call. I need to see actual proof that you're 15 years old. There is no way that a 15-year-old would have just picked up leg spinning 2 years ago and is now playing at the international level. I have trouble believing any of that. So you have to tell that lie to somebody else. All right. So going back to the mentality of a bowler, you just said something that I think you could talk about some more. You've seen a batter and their strength is going back on the back foot and playing you through the covers. So they're reading the leg spinner relatively well. You expect that there will be some turn. At the point that you bowl a googly, are you looking, and it's a right-handed batter, are you looking to get them trapped LBW? Are you looking to have them bowled? How are you looking to get them out?
Yeah, googly, the best way for wicket off a googly is either, like you said, LBW or bowled, because of course it's turning in, and you won't see many catches off the googly unless they try to play some weird shot and they get out. But the best way for me, I think, is getting them bowled off a googly. I think through the gate is like a dream delivery for me off a googly. Like as much of a leg spinner is like beating the bat and getting caught behind, the googlies is just my favorite. Like I would love bowling them through the gate and getting them out that way. But yeah, I think in terms of when to bowl it to the batters, you just gotta watch how they're playing. Like, what is their favorite shot, and what delivery that you bowl will allow them to score off that delivery. So what kind of ball you have to bowl to them, so then they don't play that shot. Yes.
Very, very interesting and really good stuff. Do you prefer bowling to a lefty or righty?
A righty, because I turn it away. Of course, I can bowl googlies to a lefty, but I mean, I always enjoy righties just because, I don't know, I just like leg spin.
So when I played here in Houston, there was no facility like this. So everything was on concrete wickets. So whether you bowl the googly or a leg spinner, it's not turning at all. And so I was a lefty, or I'm a lefty. So my entire game was doing this to a leg spinner.
Yeah.
So I loved facing leg spinners. But to a lefty who, you know, let's say has a power game in the gap, or in the big gap between, let's say between long on and square leg, because that's most of where my scoring opportunities were. A googly to that type of lefty is one that is gold. Absolutely gold. And I would be a sitting duck if I were facing you right now, because all you need to do is bowl the leg or the googly. I wouldn't be able to read it, because from what you just that little demonstration that you showed, I almost couldn't tell the difference. And so I would imagine in a real game type situation, it would be difficult to tell the difference. Your art is beyond reproach. I am absolutely impressed.
Thank you so much.
So where do you end up with overall with your crickets?
Like, where do I want to go? Or well,
you're already playing for the national team, so you don't have much further to go.
I just want to continue playing for the national team, continue to contribute to the team, and basically play for the national team. That's just the best thing, is just representing your country in whatever way possible. And now I'm playing my favorite sport for USA, so that's just an honor and a privilege for me. So I think I would just love to continue that and keep working hard and keep playing for the team.
What does that mean to you to represent this country?
It's just, like I said, it's an honor. It's a privilege for me. I've always dreamt of that, like from a young age, like, I wish I could do something like for the country, represent the country in some way. And I mean, when I started, I did not think I would play for the country in 1 year, but that's all, again, God's grace and everything coming in. Coaches, their support, their guidance, it's been amazing from all my coaches back home. And I think it's a drop catch. Ooh. But yeah, coaches' support has been amazing. My parents have
Actually, let me interrupt you, because we're seeing the replay of this drop catch. Tell us what you saw here.
It's a good delivery. She hit it. Straight to mid-off. Yeah, straight to mid-off and straight out. But I think, when it comes into your hands, those should be taken. Those are for sure very important catches. How was that? I think that's a little bit high and maybe over leg stump.
Certainly high. Looking at the replay, let's see how good of an analyst you are. You said high and over leg stump.
High and over leg stump. Oh, please.
I said, please. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. That is bouncing over maybe 3 inches.
Sometimes I want to be an umpire or a third umpire, but my teammates and everyone think otherwise. So I try not to be an umpire.
Look, umpiring is a difficult job. It's a direct hit from backward point. That's never easy. But as an umpire, you have one shot to get it right. You know, and DRS has shown us in the last several years that there is no such thing as an umpire that doesn't make mistakes. Everybody knows that. So it becomes less about whether or not you make a mistake as an umpire and more about how well do you manage the game.
Right.
And, you know, you'd like for an umpire to know that if it pitches outside leg, you can't be out LBW. Not all of them know that.
Yeah.
But the better thing for me is how well do they manage the game, how well do they keep it going. And as you see, umpire Talat, I keep calling him Talat. It is, and his name escapes me right now, but he I think is a really good umpire. The decisions that he's made today, even on your LBW shout,
Yeah.
which I thought was very close,
Yeah.
but looking at the replay, I think maybe just a bit
Maybe
slipping
a bit
down the
slipping
leg.
down leg,
At
yeah.
all, if anything, it might have been shaving leg stump. I can't expect for him to give that type
Yeah.
of decision. So I think he's
I knew it
doing
was
an
a tight
excellent
one,
job.
so I left it to the umpire. I'm like, it's your decision.
Yeah,
boss."
yeah. And I wish more young players had your opinion, because most of them are looking to argue
Yeah.
for the rest of the day.
Sometimes
Oh my
naked
goodness,
eye,
that was
it
out.
looks out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks not out. Like, you
Sure.
never know. That's
Sure.
why I wish there's DRS. Sometimes I just feel like going like this.
So for you, that maybe 40% of the ball was hitting leg stump. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you here all day because your team still is playing, and even though
They're doing really well.
where is the win projector now?
Okay, I think it's still 95-5.
It hasn't changed. Even though it's 48 without loss after 6.1.
95-5. Like, in the next couple of overs, we'll keep on going. But for now, give me at 95-5.
All right, so 95-5. In the grand scheme of things, how important it is for you all to have, let's call it a straightforward victory, because you've lost a couple of close games. And for the most part, even though you're a very talented side, you haven't won as much as you've wanted to win so far. How important is it for this to be a dominant victory for you?
I think most importantly, it's going to boost our confidence as a team. We still have a game tomorrow. And we would, I think run rate wise, if we win this game by a good run rate, we can go to 4th place. And our goal would be to not play the 5th and 6th playoff, to go as high as we can. So this win will surely boost our confidence, make us feel a lot more prepared for the next match, ready for the next match. And there are a lot of youngsters in this team as well. And it's just been amazing to play with them. Really fun, actually, on the field as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a great win for them. They'll be really excited, happy, and I think tomorrow we'll be able to come with a lot more energy and on the field.
So a couple down the leg side, and in fact that wide brings up the 50, which is why you hear that applause. Okay.
Yay.
Once again, you're cheering in the commentator's seat, and I don't know that that's allowed, but I'll consult with the real rule book, see what the official rule book says.
My bad.
You know you don't mean that. So when the tournament is finished, what do you think you're taking away from the tournament, regardless of the result? And another direct hit. I will say that they have hit the stumps a number of times.
This has
even though that conceded a run.
It's been like an issue. It's not for us. It's not been the overthrows, like throwing it over the field or too far from them, but it's been like the bowler, the keeper missing it and then going straight through and no backup and another single. So I think for sure backup is super duper important. Like when you're trying to throw, like have a shot at the stumps, there needs to be someone backing up. And I think for a few of the balls, it might have come too fast to them, or they might not have expected it to go past the stumps. Whatever it is, I think we need to be prepared. There were a few extra runs that we got in all the games that we played so far, which is surely something we could learn from the games and take away for tomorrow.
If I were to be made king of cricket for one day, I would change the rule that a direct hit is a live ball. Because if you're literally punishing a fielder for being so accurate that they hit the stumps directly.
Yeah.
And looking for a big hit there. That doesn't go anywhere. So one ball remaining here in the 8th over. Make that the 7th over. 51 without loss. So I'm going to let you go after this next ball.
All right.
So I want you to walk us or talk us through exactly what you're about to see.
All right. This is the last ball of the 7th over. Lasya Bandaru facing the ball. She's been playing really well today, both of them, Ria and Lasya. I think this is Ria's first time batting in this tournament, and she's used the opportunity so well so far. There was that run out chance, but other than that, a couple appeals. But other than that, it's been really strong, good batting from these two and solid defense to end the over. Could see that she hit a couple of boundaries last year, and now solid defense. That shows perfect technique. So well done.
Sai Ayuni, it has been absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Best of luck to you. You are an absolute inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. And by the way, I said this to everybody who's been in here before. If you look through this door or this window and see that I'm in here by myself, I always welcome company. So if you just want to come sit in for a couple of overs, feel free.
All right. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk. So we are almost at the halfway stage in terms of the rate or the runs that need to be chased. The score is 51 without loss. And if you looked at Sai Ayuni's win predictor, it's probably 98.5 to 1.5 now. So very strong batting lineup for Houston, and they're not even yet out of second gear, I don't think. And this is a good delivery. First delivery bowled by Mamata. And I'm going to get all of these names properly. Mamata Swami. And she's bowling from the Pearland end, bowling to Ria Nadkarni. Ria 21 from 23 last year, 18 from 20. And this one is stroked to extra cover. Slight deflection there, misfield, but no damage done. To the extent that we need to sort of analyze where we are in this overall game. 51 runs without losses the score. We need another 53, we meaning Houston. Another 53 needed from 77 balls. That's a good looking shot that may run close to the boundary, and it's slowing down right before it got there. So a couple of more runs. Renard Carney now up to 23 from 25. So they, at this point, have drawn, in fact, number of runs needed has now been dwarfed by the current score. 53 is the current score, and 51 more runs needed from 76 balls. So only needed to score at the rate of 4.3 to win from here. Just in looking at the stats overall, 43% of the deliveries so far have been dot balls, which, if you remember earlier, we mentioned that 66% of the Loudoun Cubs delivers were dot balls. 13 singles, which is 25% of the total. 8 doubles, 30%. And 22% of the runs have been scored in boundaries. So overall, slightly more aggressive approach for Houston, not necessarily needing to go hell for leather. But at the same time, you'd like to think that just in terms of their professionalism and how they finish off this game, that they would continue along the same way that they've been going so far. So 55 is the score. That's a full toss. That's a good piece of feeling to her own bowling by Mithali. Not able to complete. In fact, it was a bit of a fumble, but didn't get away far enough for a run. So just one ball remaining here in the 8th. 55 is the score. And just after this one ball, we'll kind of reset and see where we are overall in the scorecard. Short and powered away down to long on for a single. So that is the end of the 8th over. So in terms of where we are in the overall scorecard, the Houston Hurricanes, Ria Nadkarni, 25 from 27. Lassia Bandaru, 19 from 21. Ria with 1-4. Lassia with 2 fours. And the bowling for the Loudoun Cubs, Ashwini, the captain, 2 overs, none for 14. Slade Jones, 2 overs, none for 20. Mamata Swami, 2 overs, none for 12. And Mithali Nyogi, 2 overs, none for 8. So each of the primary bowlers has gone through and gotten through halfway through their spells. But very honestly, right now they need wickets. If I were the captain, I'd be looking at getting my strike bowlers back on, including herself as an opening bowler, because as of right now, the Hurricanes are just pushing the ball around and there is no real urgency because they only need from here exactly 4 runs and over to win. Now, actually, I'm going to say this because Sai is still here. Sai, I don't know where you usually bat in the innings, but if you'd like to hang out for the entirety of the match, or at least until 3 or 4 wickets fall and you might need to go pad up, if it comes to that, then more than happy to have you go then. But until then, if you want to sit here and be on the air, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, batting anytime. Whenever the coach wants me to bat, I'm just gonna go out. So I don't know what he wants right now, but I'll might have to go at some point to go check with him. But for sure, I'm enjoying my time here.
Okay, so then how about this? How about we put you on hold for just a second? You go check with the coach to see what his plans are for you batting, and then if it's not going to be for a while, come back up and be on the air.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right. So we'll keep your chair warm for you. So in the meantime, this is Mamata Swami continuing none for 14 from 2. And she immediately goes down the leg side. So yet another wide. Been a number of those so far. And as of right now, just another 46. Make that 45 runs needed. And 45 runs needed from 72 balls. Only needing to score at the rate of 3.75 runs and over from here. So a pretty pedestrian effort is all that's needed by the Houston Hurricanes. Chickadees Loudoun Cubs, as I mentioned earlier, getting a starting relatively slowly, and didn't get, I don't think, as many runs on the board as they would have wanted. And then this opening pair for Houston, Ria Nadkarni and Lasia Bandaru, both just kind of knocking the ball around and picking it up in 1s and 2s. So no real urgency. Score is now 60, so all they need is another 44 runs from 71 balls, which in theory should not pose much of a challenge. Mamata again. And this is swept around the corner. That may make it all the way to the boundary. And it does make it all the way to the boundary. Swept away behind square. That's a good looking stroke. And all of a sudden, Sai Iyuni has made it back into the commentary area with a big smile on her face. So what did your coach say?
My coach said, I'll let you know if you're going to bat soon, but for now, you can go back.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, because, I mean, I really like it here. I've never done commentary before or any sort of, like, talk on air. Like, I've never been here before, like, in any sort of game. So it's kind of cool, like a nice first experience.
Absolutely lovely. Look at that throw, my goodness. A bullet
it's the
throw.
second
but
one in this innings.
Yes. That throw was very strong, but it was not collected cleanly.
Yep.
Even without it having not been collected cleanly, there still was enough time because the running between the wickets once again is a bit of an issue.
I think the calling is super important in this game. The loud yes or no, it always makes a difference. Like, the non-striker has to be able to hear you, or the striker, whoever's calling, the other person has to hear you. And in this case, I don't know if they called, but looks like was it the non-striker or the striker that ran? I think I didn't see that ball properly, but whoever it was, they did. That's good fielding.
Great stop.
That is a good stop.
Well, I agree with you. I'm not sure if it was the striker or the non-striker because they were both at the same end for a minute.
So, whoever it was, they did not call clearly,
Right.
and the other person did not listen to them, and didn't have the same calls. So I think the most important thing is either agreeing to their call or just saying no based on what you see and what you think. Will you make it or not? Oh, that's a beautiful shot down the ground. It's an excellent shot straight down the ground.
Just jogging through for that second run. I'll tell you what, not only is that a good umpiring decision, but I want to point out the fact that the umpire is square of the wickets on all run-out opportunities. Not every umpire does that, and it is so important, and it's one of the easiest ways to know the competency of an umpire if you see him immediately go square of the wicket to make those or adjudicate on those run-out opportunities. So last ball of the 9th over.
Shot that has been
smacked into low full toss and smashes it through mid-wicket for 4.
Those shots on the knee has been really good, actually. The low full tosses. There have been a lot of full tosses in both the innings, I think, but especially in this innings. The previous matches for Houston Hurricanes, we weren't able to put away as many of the full tosses that we got, but in this game, especially Lasia is able to put away those full tosses really well behind square, in front of square. Those shots, they're just amazing to watch from here, so well played.
Fantastic. So the score is now 70, meaning that Houston Hurricanes just need another 34. And I guess the only burning question is, are you going to need to pad up today?
Doesn't look like it, but at the same time, I wouldn't want any wicket to fall. If this can be a 10-wicket win, there's nothing better than that. These two are going really well at the moment, and I would really want them to finish it off. So
outstanding. Okay.
I'm ready, but
excellent. So this next over to be bowled by. This is Mithali again.
Yeah.
Stroked.
Well played.
Past extra cover. Bit of a fumble, but I think they had a single in any chance or in any case. Okay, getting back to the game. 71 without loss, 9.1. Make that 73 without loss, 9.1. And it feels as though it's going to be a pretty straightforward result here. Going down the leg side and signaled wide. So 31 more runs to get. In fact, with that wide, 34 more runs to get. Make that 30 runs to get, my apologies. Another 65 balls in which to get them. 10 wickets in hand. What does the Sai Ayuni win predictor show now?
It's it's reaching 100.
100. 100.
They're batting really well. The bowling has been it hasn't been as good as they would have wanted it to be against this pair, but for sure Houston Hurricanes are looking in a dominating position right now in this game. Should look to finish it off as quickly as possible, get that run rate up. Who knows, we could go to 4th place and go and play that 3rd, 4th place playoff tomorrow. So, let's see.
So explain to people, you've said that a couple of times now, you want to get the run rate up. What do you mean by that?
I think it's all about rotating strike. And, of course, bad balls come, they have to be punished. In this format, you have to punish the bad balls, and bad balls will come. And I think for the good balls, it's not just defense. I think the really, really good balls, sometimes you can't do anything about it, but good balls in terms of, I don't really see a good ball. Like, there's a drivable ball, drive it for single, like that. Like that.
Bang down
And
the
then any
ground.
kind of ball like that ball could be a good ball for someone. They could just maybe hit it for a single or play defense. But in this case, she came out and she smacked it down the ground for 4. So that's, I think, called intent, the aggressive mindset when you're batting. I think she also wants to finish it off as quickly as possible, but
For the
it's
same
really good
reason that
batting.
you said.
Yeah.
So 23 more runs needed, target of 104, and the score is 81 without loss. And we're almost, in fact, we're not even halfway through the innings yet in terms of the number of overs. Just 9.3 bowled, another 10.3 to come, but it won't go anything close to that, I don't think. This
Like that rotating strike, exactly that. I mean, sometimes it's hard. You need to find the gaps. That's a really important point. But I think these two have been doing really well in terms of finding the gaps and just rotating strike here and there. Even though the dot ball percentage has been about 40%, it's still better in terms of our other games. And I think in this game they've built a really good partnership together. I think that's what matters. Both of them, both batting well individually, but they put in a really good partnership together. So
outstanding. So one more ball, and I believe we're going to be speaking with Miss Nina Ruwala after this. So your first stint behind the mic in the commentary area is a rousing success. I do not mind telling you that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. There it is down the ground again. That's going to be 4 more.
Wow, that is actually not an easy shot to play, and I
No.
think she's nailed it 2 times in the over. I think that's a brilliant shot from her. It's never easy coming down the track and playing the spinner through that mid-off region, but I think she's been playing that shot really well today, and yeah, another really good shot from her.
Fantastic. So just another 17 runs needed. Sai, wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. I just love this. Commentary box.
Once again, open invitation anytime you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Welcome back to Moosa Cricket Stadium after a short break. We're back in the middle of the action. We're just a short, you would think in theory, about 4 different strokes that are needed to finish this game. The Houston Hurricanes are very well on top of the Chickadees Loudoun Cubs. The batters are Ria Nadkarni, 36 from 33, and Lassia Bandaru. She is 30 from 27. And for a few minutes, I'm happy to be joined right here in the commentary area by Nina Ruwala. Nina, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm really good. I just took a nap.
Did you say you just took a nap?
Yeah, I just took a nap right there, over there, and I was just like, now I'm fresh to play another game.
All right. So you play for the MCA women.
Yes.
Tell me.
NCCA, it's a...
NCCA.
Yeah, like...
Okay.
And WCA, I mean, it's just, they picked me up.
I was about to say, because that shirt says MCA.
Yeah,
so.
my bad. It's been a wrong shirt.
Yes, clearly.
It happens,
Yes, that it does. But tell me a little bit about you. Those of us who don't know you, give us a little bit of your background, and then what do you think about this tournament so far?
I'm from Houston. I'm locals, and I've been in Houston playing with Houston team for almost 6-7 years. Sometimes I play with other teams as well. It's like open, like I can go play anywhere, whoever asks me.
Sure.
But mostly I played for Houston as well. But my first tournament was in 2014 in Atlanta. The Atlanta women's game. I go there and I just went there and I was like, okay, I want to play.
Sure.
And I drove all the way from Dallas.
So you drove from Dallas to Atlanta.
Yeah, I drove about like 14 hours to go and play
Wow.
cricket. And when I reached there, they said, oh, there is no team. I was like, excuse me?
It's like, no, because I just drove 14 hours. There's going to be a team.
But fortunately, like, somebody picked me like, okay, yeah, you can come and play with us and join us. And I'm like, okay, definitely. And from then I just start meeting, new people. Like cricket is a really good way you connect with people. And it's a very tricky game as well. You got to be very patient.
Sure.
Breathe and, relax and just wait for your time. But so far, so good. I mean, I started cricket very late, like just for fun. But it's my passion so far.
Absolutely love to hear that. So with this game, there's not much intrigue left in it. Looks like 94, just another 10 more runs needed. So we don't have a whole lot more time to talk. So I'll ask you really quickly, what do you think about the tournament so far, and what do you think about your team's chances?
Oh, first of all, I want to say Rhea, she's playing really well. Absolutely amazing. She's a very good bowler. And, in youth, yeah, she's going to go far. I mean, and I saw her practicing from like 7 years. She's only 11 years old. So, it's a Houston team, and I hope all the kids and youth and whoever is playing in this tournament, learn a lot of good things from this tournament. And so far, tournament is going really good, and I enjoy watching small, like youth, and then all the women's and everybody coming together and supporting the women's team. So best of luck
to hear you say
for
that.
everything, and hope we can get more women's games so we can promote cricket in USA.
What a wonderful thing for you to say. Now, with 10 more runs needed, what do you think? Because you mentioned Rhea, and both Rhea and Lassia, 2 young ladies who both play here. When I was living in Houston, I lived here from 1982 until 2004. There was no such thing as women's cricket at all.
Yes.
And to see an entire tournament dedicated to women playing cricket, to me, is absolutely amazing. So what are your thoughts there?
Yes, I mean, when I started, you're talking about I'm talking about 2016 or 15.
Right.
There was nothing. Like, we have to, like, they have to call everybody, hey, can you come? and making like 2 teams was
Yes.
like a big thing.
Yes.
And now, very proud. It's 6 teams are playing. I think there is a bright future, for women's cricket. I think it's all over the world actually right now. Not only US, like, India, Pakistan, and all other countries. I mean,
Sure.
women's cricket is on peak right now. So let's go. Woman power. Let's go.
Women's power. I love it. So that is a wide ball. This is actually Priyanka. Don't see Priyanka's last name. Matter of fact, she's not even on the card that I have, but it doesn't matter. Love to see anybody get the opportunity. A couple of wides to start with. So Priyanka, I think, doesn't have a lot of pressure because I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward victory by Houston. But more to the point that you were just making, for you to have the dedication to drive all the way to Atlanta to play in a tournament where you weren't even sure that you were going to get picked, to then have right here in Houston the ability to have a tournament like this must mean a whole lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say I'm just very surprised and very proud of all the youth cricket, all the supporters, family, parents. Like, all the parents are, every time they support their kids. So this is something I think all the kids should appreciate their parents, like, by doing all this hard work for their kids. Like, a lot of people came out of state, like, California, like New York. So it's good way, like, in a path, like a good path for the cricket. And I think in few years, hopefully, women's cricket will be worldwide. Like, all the best to them, and wish all of them, good luck.
Absolutely wonderful to hear you say all of that. And now the last question that I'll ask you. Where is your team going to end up in this tournament?
I think we will give a good hard time. We will be in final for sure.
Whoa,
Yeah,
you're that
so
confident.
we will be in final, and then we just have to play a good game of cricket and
Okay.
be the finalist and win the trophy.
Now, there's a bunch of rain in the forecast tomorrow. Don't know exactly whether or not we'll be able to get all the games in that we want to get. But that is swept away behind square, and I believe that is the winning stroke.
Wow.
So that is victory for Houston by 10 wickets, a very comprehensive victory in the end. And I think more than anything else, the Houston Hurricanes, who lost several close games, and in fact, no one has moved yet. I don't know that they know that that's the winning stroke. It even says on the scoreboard, Houston won by 10 wickets, but they're still getting ready to bowl the next ball. Somebody should probably suggest it to them that the game is over. You know what? Oh, no, now, okay, now these... In fact, there is the umpire. He's now getting the word. Yep, we're done, ladies.
That was a good ending.
It was a good ending. Okay, so why don't you do this? The very last thing I want you to do is just walk us through the entire scorecard. Tell us what you see on the scorecard from the time that the Chickadees batted all the way through.
All right. Easy.
Easy.
Slade Jones got retired hurt, 6 runs on 24 balls, 1-4, and strike rate is 25. Mithali Padavadan retired hurt, 34 runs on 44 balls, 3 fours, no sixes, 77 strike rate. Ashwini Chavan, bowled by Celeste, catch by Pooja, 17 runs on 25 balls, 1-4, no 6, and 68 the strike rate. Komal Shitigar, she got bowled by Celeste, catch by Katrina, 13 runs, 15 balls, 1-4, and 87 strike rate. Then Mamta Swami not out, 11 runs, 7 balls, and 1-4, 157 strike rate. That's pretty good.
Sure.
Padma Gayatri Srinivasan not out, 2 runs on 5 balls and 40 strike rate.
And as far as the batting for the Houston Hurricanes.
Oh, wow. Rhea, the star, Houston star. Rhea Nadkarni, 39 on 36, 3 fours, 108 strike rate. Pretty nice. Then Lasya Bandaru, not out, 39 on 33, 6 fours, 118 strike rate. Beautiful.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for taking us through the scorecard. A
You're
pretty
welcome.
comprehensive victory for the Houston Hurricanes. Nina, it is an absolute pleasure meeting you. And I've said this to everybody who's been in here already this weekend. I'm mostly in here talking by myself. So if you ever felt the need to drop in and say hello and sit for a few overs,
Sure.
it's an open invitation.
Thank you for, doing a great commentary. It was really nice, listening. Like we are watching, we were like, oh, let's see, like what he's saying. I like to listen commentary, like because it's entertaining while just watching the game.
Sure.
Some kind of mixing going on. It's like a beat, like dig dig dig, talking.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you, Nina.